Chapter 2053. Following Feng Zhengxia's directions, Jinju saw Zhao Tianhu, who was busy working in the field. She then rushed toward Zhao Tianhu's direction. "Husband," Jinju called out shyly from a short distance away. Zhao Tianhu thought that he was hallucinating at first, so he didn't pay much attention. It wasn't until Jinju called him a second time that Zhao Tianhu turned around and looked at Jinju. "Wife, why are you here? A girl running out on such a hot day. Aren't you afraid of getting tanned? Girls are more beautiful when they are white and tender. You should go back and rest," Zhao Tianhu said with concern. Hearing Zhao Tianhu's words, Jinju felt a touch of sweetness in her heart. She didn't expect Zhao Tianhu to be so concerned about her. He was even afraid that she would get tanned. She didn't think much of it, but Zhao Tianhu didn't think about it, so Jinju was somewhat touched. "Husband, I'm here to give you some water," Jinju said as she smiled and waved the water bottle in her hand. Zhao Tianhu was stunned. Then the corner of his mouth raised into a sweet smile. It turned out that his wife was worried that he was thirsty, so she brought him water. This feeling of being loved and cared for by his wife was really good. Unlike before, when he was single, he didn't envy others for nothing. Hee, Zhao Tianhu laughed foolishly. He didn't know what to say, so he just stood there and laughed. "Tianhu, it seems that second niece-in-law treats you well. She loves you very much." Zhao Wentao stood at the side and said jokingly. Zhao Tianhu was originally a thin-skinned person. When Zhao Wentao said that, he lowered his head and muttered, "Fourth uncle, why are you laughing at me?" "I'm not laughing at you. I'm just telling the truth. You little brat, fortune favors fools. You came back with such a good wife." "Fourth uncle. Alright, you're a big man. Why are you still shy? Things are different now. Now that you have a wife, you have to be more open. Don't be timid," Zhao Wentao instructed. Zhao Tianhu was silent for a moment before replying. "Fourth uncle, I understand. I'll be more careful in the future." Jinju then called the other men over to drink water. At this moment, the sun was scorching, and all of them were soaked in sweat. How could they not drink more water to replenish their water content? Jinju poured a cup of water and handed it to each of them. After drinking a cup of water, the three men immediately felt refreshed and comfortable. "Juer, thank you. You're the best." Zhao Tianhu grinned at Jinju. Although he was very tired and hot right now, his face was filled with a happy smile. Jinju replied shyly, "Husband, I have nothing to do anyway. It's not tiring to bring you a cup of water. I just don't want you to come out and bask in the sun," Zhao Tianhu replied with a silly smile. Thus, when Zhao Yin'er was busy delivering water, she saw Jinju who had already delivered the water. Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but tease. "Sigh, if I knew that second cousin-in-law was coming, I wouldn't have made a special trip." "That's right. Yin'er girl, you came for nothing. In the future, there will be a niece-in-law in the family. Like you, she's a caring person." Zhao Wentao followed behind and added a sentence. "That's right. You don't need me anymore. Sigh, forget it. Then I'll go back. I won't bring you water in the future." Chapter 2054. The reason she rushed out to deliver water was to avoid the awkwardness of staying with old Zhao's family. If she went back now, what was the point of coming out? When Zhao Tianhu asked her to go back, Jinju shook her head. "No, I still want to stay here with you." Zhao Tianhu frowned. "But Juer, it's too hot here. Don't you feel uncomfortable under the sun?" Jinju shook her head. "It's not that bad at home. I'm not that delicate." "Juer," Zhao Tianhu wanted to continue persuading her. After all, staying at home was definitely more comfortable than being outside in the sun. To him, the thing he couldn't bear to see the most was his wife suffering. Zhao Yin'er patted Zhao Tianhu's shoulder and lectured Zhao Tianhu. "Second cousin, can't you tell? Second cousin-in-law just wants to stay with you. That's why the two of you got married. It's good for you to stick together all the time." Zhao Tianhu was stunned. He didn't think about it that way. He just felt sorry for Jinju. "Juer, if you want to be with me and aren't afraid of the sun, then let's stay together," Zhao Tianhu said to Jinju after hesitating for a moment. Jinju lowered her head and answered shyly, "Okay. Then I'll go first." Zhao Yin'er got up and said. With the scorching sun above his head, he felt a little uncomfortable. Perhaps she hadn't suffered much, and was a little delicate. After lunch, Zhao Yun'er carried the basket on her back, and called Mulan to go up the mountain together. Although it was the hottest day, and it was very hot, the forest on the mountain was very cool because of the lush trees. It was as if they were in an air-conditioned room in the 21st century. If it weren't for the mosquitoes and wild animals on the mountain that could cause danger, it would definitely be very comfortable and cool to sleep on a bed here in the middle of the night. As the two of them walked, they searched for wild mushrooms on the ground. It was probably because it hadn't rained for a long time, so there weren't many wild fungi on the ground. The two of them picked for quite a while, and collected half a basket of wild mushrooms. Even so, these wild mushrooms were enough to last for a few days. Zhao Yun'er and Mulan were satisfied, and decided to find something else. They found a lot of wild fruits on the mountain. They tasted sweet, and were not worse than the fruits they grew at home. If they brought these back, the children would probably like them the most. The two people's luck was not bad. After walking for a while, they came across two wild rabbits. They looked very plump, weighing a few kilograms. They could be cooked in a pot. There were two of them, one for each family. Tonight, they would be able to enjoy a delicious meal. Yun'er, I think it's about time. We've gained a lot this time. Shall we go back now? Zhao Yun'er nodded and responded. She looked at the things in the basket, and smiled with satisfaction. Just as the two of them were about to reach the foot of the mountain, Zhao Yun'er felt that something was wrong. She felt that someone was following behind her, but she didn't see anything when she turned around. Mulan asked with concern, "Yun'er, what's wrong? Why are you so suspicious? Did something happen?" "I just feel like someone is following us," Zhao Yun'er muttered. "Is that so?" Mulan looked around. "Nothing. I don't see anyone." Chapter 2055. Yes, it must be. Yun'er, don't think about it. Let's go down the mountain quickly. Mulan called out. Okay. Zhao Yun'er nodded. She shook her head, thinking that she might have been too busy and confused. However, just as Zhao Yun'er and Mulan continued to go down the mountain, in a bush, a rough man in gray said to another man in black, "Boss, it seems to be this woman. We finally waited for her to come down the mountain. Do you want to make a move now? There's a woman next to him. She seems to be in the way. Are you sure it's this woman?" The man in black asked. The man in gray nodded heavily. "Boss, I'm sure it's her. We followed her all the way from her house, but we didn't have a chance to make a move. Now that we're here, we have a chance. If we don't make a move now, it won't be so easy when they enter the village." The man in black was silent for a moment and said, "Okay then, let's make a move. The sooner we finish the job, the sooner we can get the remaining half of the money. Since they've spent such a high price, we naturally have to do our job well and satisfy our employer." "Okay, boss, let's go then." "Okay." As the two men spoke, they came out of the bush together and ran quickly towards Zhao Yun'er and Mulan. These two men had undergone professional training, so they were very skilled. When they made a move, they were very fast and neat. Before Zhao Yun'er and Mulan could react, the two men had already flashed behind them. Zhao Yun'er and Mulan both exclaimed. Sure enough, she didn't sense it wrongly. There really were people following behind her. Obviously, these two people didn't come with good intentions. They didn't know what they were planning. "What do you want to do?" Zhao Yun'er coldly scolded. "Take you to a place," the man in black said in a deep voice. Zhao Yun'er wanted to resist, but before she could fight with the two men, they had already grabbed her arms, and she couldn't move at all. Mulan was pushed by the gray-clothed man, and fell heavily to the ground. Mulan screamed in pain, but after seeing the situation, she anxiously got up from the ground and rushed to the two men. "What do you want? Why did he want to capture Yun'er? Hurry up and release Yun'er. Let Yun'er go, do you hear me? Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." However, Mulan was a weak woman. Her threat was nothing to the two men, so they ignored her. Mulan immediately panicked. She was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would be hurt, so she shouted, "What are you trying to do? Let go of Yun'er quickly. I'm going to fight it out with you." With that, Mulan rushed over. However, before she could get close to the two men, she was kicked heavily and then fell to the ground. Mulan was in great pain from the kick. She felt her vision turn black, and a layer of cold sweat appeared on her forehead. She sat on the ground and covered her stomach. The gray-clothed man spat on the ground and cursed. "Bitch, don't overestimate yourself." Zhao Yuner looked at Mulan worriedly. "Sister-in-law Mulan, are you okay?" "Yuner, I'm fine." Mulan gritted her teeth. Because she was worried about Zhao Yuner, she pretended to get up from the ground. Zhao Yuner hurriedly dissuaded her. "Sister-in-law Mulan, don't worry about me. Take care of yourself first. If you go on like this, you will die." Yuner. Chapter 2056. The gray-robed man scolded impatiently. Then he turned to the black-robed man and said, "Big brother, let's go now? Since we've already caught this person, let's bring her back." The black-robed man narrowed his eyes, then nodded in response. Let's go." "You. Why did you catch Yuner?" Seeing that the two men were about to drag Zhao Yuner away, Mulan immediately became anxious. If they were in the village, it would be fine. Once she shouted, at least someone would stick their head out to take a look. With the help of the villagers, it would be much easier to capture Zhao Yuner, but now that they were on the mountain, no one would hear her even if she screamed until she broke her throat. Naturally, no one would come to save Zhao Yuner. When Mulan shouted, the black-robed man frowned and looked sharply at Mulan. "This woman can't be left alive, or else the two of us will be exposed. Second brother, hurry up and kill him." Zhao Yuner's heart trembled. What were these people trying to do? Were they planning to kill Mulan? If Mulan died, she would die of guilt. Mulan had several children at home. If he died, what would happen to the 3 children? Mulan also seemed to be frightened. But when she heard the black-robed man say that he wanted to kill her, it meant that he was also very serious about hurting Zhao Yuner. Mulan couldn't help but worry about Zhao Yun. "Don't act recklessly. Since the person you want to catch is me, then don't hurt the innocent. I'll cooperate with you and go with you. She won't tell anyone. I beg you to let her go," Zhao Yuner said to the black-robed man. Now that the two of them were in danger, she naturally wanted to save as many as possible. As long as they didn't do anything to her now, she would have a chance to save herself. What she needed to do now was to delay the two men and not let them hurt Mulan. The gray-robed man was obviously soft-hearted. He said to the black-robed man, "Big brother, I think we should forget about it. Knocking her out now won't get in our way. We're just looking for money. We don't want to kill her. If she really dies and gets involved in a lawsuit, it'll be troublesome." The black-robed man thought for a moment, then said in a low voice, "All right then, knock her out." "Yes." The man in gray quickly nodded and walked towards Mulan. He knocked the back of Mulan's neck and she fainted. Zhao Yuner's heart was relieved, as long as these people let Mulan go. As for her, she would think of a way. In order to prevent Zhao Yuner from struggling, the gray-robed man and the black-robed man took out a hemp rope to tie Zhao Yuner's hands and feet. They even took out a piece of cloth and stuffed it into Zhao Yuner's mouth, afraid that Zhao Yuner would make any noise. Then, they carried Zhao Yuner into the hemp sack and walked down the mountain. Not far from the foot of the mountain, they had specially prepared an ox cart with some other goods piled in hemp sacks. After they put Zhao Yuner inside, it would be hidden. The black-robed man said, "When we reach Sun City later, I'll make a trip to the heir presumptive's residence and inform Miss Morong. Bring her to the place that Miss Morong has arranged. Do you understand?" The gray-robed man nodded heavily. "Got it, big brother. I'll take care of this small matter." The black-robed man responded. The ox cart swayed as it headed in the direction of Sun City. At this moment, Zhao Yuner, who was placed in the ox cart, heard the two men's conversation and couldn't help but frown. The Miss Morong from the heir presumptive's residence that they were talking about should be Morong Shuang, right? Chapter 2057. She just didn't know what Morong Shuang was plotting against her this time. Knowing Morong Shuang's personality, she might even do something that would harm her life. Zhao Yuner couldn't help but worry. She was caught and Mulan was on the mountain. She was afraid that no one would be able to find her immediately, let alone rush over to save her. Now that she was in danger at any time, it would be very difficult for her to save herself. Along the way, Zhao Yuner lay on the horse carriage, thinking about what to do. They finally arrived at Yang City. The man in black went to the crown prince's mansion, while Zhao Yin was taken to another place by the ox cart. When the ox cart passed by the street, Zhao Yin felt the noise around her. There was a chance if there was someone. Zhao Yin deliberately moved a little. Since she was tied up, she couldn't struggle much, and there was something else on her body, so no one noticed her movements. Her mouth was also gagged. Although she could make whimpering sounds, in the bustling street, the little noise she made was quickly drowned out by the noise around her. Finally, they didn't know where the ox cart stopped, and Zhao Yin was carried down from the ox cart by the gray-robed man. "Miss, don't think about escaping. Not many people have escaped from our hands. I think you'd better be good and wait for the employer to come." The man in gray nagged. Zhao Yin felt that the man in gray didn't speak very fiercely and didn't seem like a bad person. If he hadn't helped her say a few words today, she was afraid that the man in black would have really taken Mulan's life. Zhao Yin didn't make a sound. Of course, her mouth was gagged and she couldn't respond. Zhao Yin was thrown on the ground. She didn't know how long she lay there, but she finally heard the footsteps of a few people. The man in black was among them. A familiar voice entered Zhao Yin's ears. "Where is she?" It was Morong Shuang. It really was that woman. Although she already knew in advance, Zhao Yin still felt that something was different when she heard her voice at this moment. "Here, here." The man in black quickly responded, then asked someone to open the sack. Zhao Yin then saw the light. She was now in a small dilapidated house, cooped up in the sack for a long time. Once she saw light, it was very dazzling. Zhao Yin's eyes narrowed. Then she saw Morong Shuang standing in front of her. After Morong Shuang confirmed that it was Zhao Yin, the corners of her mouth curled into a sneer. Her sharp eyes fell on Zhao Yin. It was all because of this woman. If it weren't for her, her cousin wouldn't have looked at her and wouldn't have refused to marry her. Other than this woman, she had a chance to be with Mu Lianfeng. No matter what she did to Zhao Yin, there was a reason, so Zhao Yin couldn't blame her. She couldn't blame her for being cruel and merciless. "Take the thing out of her mouth," Morong Shuang ordered the man in black. "Okay." Zhao Yin finally spat out the cloth in her mouth. After a few violent coughs, Zhao Yin asked Morong Shuang, "Why did you bring me here?" Morong Shuang grinned. "Actually, it's nothing. I just wanted to teach you a lesson. My cousin is bewitched by you. You have some tricks up your sleeve, woman." Chapter 2058. Zhao Yin furrowed her brows, sensing a hint of danger. She asked coldly, "What do you want?" Morong Shuang took a few steps forward and stopped in front of Zhao Yin. She squatted down and chuckled. "You're still talking to me with this kind of tone at this time. You really don't want to live anymore. But since you don't want to live anymore, it doesn't matter. I don't plan to let you go easily anyway." As Morong Shuang spoke, she patted Zhao Yin's face a few times and muttered a few words. "I don't know what's so good about your plain face. How can it be half as good as mine? My cousin must have a problem with his eyes to fall for a woman like you. But he must have his reasons for liking you. In my opinion, you must be a whore. You're good at that kind of thing, right? If you serve a man well, he'll naturally be obedient to you." Zhao Yin's face sank. This Morong Shuang was a lady from a respectable family. She had no sense of shame when she said such words. She really had to give it to her. "I'm not as dirty as you think. You're an unmarried lady. Don't you know how to be shy when you say such words?" Zhao Yin replied in a low voice. "Why should I be shy? You should be the one who should be shy. I'm just saying it. But you've done it yourself. Compared to you, I'm not even half as good as you." Morong Shuang replied. "You." Zhao Yin really didn't know what to say to Morong Shuang. Some people had a dark heart and thought they were infallible. Morong Shuang laughed. She looked at Zhao Yin as if she wanted to eat her up. She really hated her too much. Ever since she was a child, she had been pampered. What could she not get? Everything she had experienced was good. For her, the only thing she couldn't get was Mu Lianfeng. If she had lost to other women, it would have been fine. But she had lost to an ordinary woman like Zhao Yin. Because of this, she was even more unreconciled. "Zhao Yin, as long as I destroy you, it will be fine. Since my cousin likes your skills in bed, then I'll let someone defile you. I'd like to see if my cousin still wants you after you've been done by another man. Zhao Yuner felt that Morong Shuang was a little sick. She was so angry that her body trembled. If she allowed another man to defile her, wouldn't that mean that she would have sex with another man? Zhao Yuner really couldn't accept it. If she was a woman, she probably wouldn't even know that her body was dirty. She might as well die. Morong Shuang had actually thought of this to deal with her. It seemed that this woman would not be satisfied until she was ruined. But at this time, in this dilapidated place, who could she count on to save her? In such a short period of time, Mu Lianfeng probably did not even realize that something had happened to her, let alone come to her rescue. If she waited for Mulan to wake up and report that Mu Lianfeng really came to look for her, it would be too late by the time he found her. After her body was defiled, would there still be anyone to keep her? If Mu Lianfeng doesn't like you, then he doesn't like you. Do you think he'll want you without me? Stop dreaming. Zhao Yuner scolded angrily. Morong Shuang didn't care. I don't know whether it's true or not. Anyway, destroying you first is definitely the right thing to do. Zhao Yuner, just you wait. Ha ha. After Morong Shuang laughed proudly, she said to the servant girl beside her, "Come, give her that bowl of medicine." Chapter 2059. Yes, my lady. The woman's eyes also revealed a hint of viciousness. This country bumpkin wants to compete with my lady for a man. She really doesn't know her own limits. My lady is treating her like this now. She asked for it. When she arrived in front of Zhao Yuner, the maid squatted down and pinched Zhao Yuner's mouth. She then poured the entire bowl of medicine into Zhao Yuner's mouth. The bowl of thick soup was very bitter. Zhao Yuner wanted to struggle, but her hands and feet were tightly bound. How could she exert any strength? After drinking the entire bowl of medicine, Zhao Yuner could not help but cough a few times. She wanted to vomit and spit out all the bitterness in her mouth. My lady, the procuress of Huaman Lu said that this bowl of medicine will take effect very soon. The maid stood up and said to Morong Shuang, who was beside her. Morong Shuang responded with a sound of acknowledgement, and a satisfied smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. She looked at Zhao Yuner on the ground, as if she could already see Zhao Yuner's tragic future. Call him in. Morong Shuang ordered again. Yes, my lady. As she spoke, the maid walked a few steps to the door of the house, and called in a few men. These men were all covered in dirt, and were dressed like beggars. It was very disgusting to look at. Morong Shuang squatted down and smiled at Zhao Yuner. Wait for the medicine to take effect in your body. Then enjoy these men, haha. Zhao Yuner immediately understood Morong Shuang's meaning. She had just given her an aphrodisiac. Once the medicine took effect, she would not be able to control herself and throw herself at these men. It was undeniable that Morong Shuang's sinister methods were really frightening. Aren't you afraid that your cousin will find out? He won't let you off. Zhao Yuner said angrily. Morong Shuang shrugged. What evidence do you have to say that I did it? Zhao Yuner, it's not easy to pin the blame on me. I hope you'll be clear about this. Don't make slanderous accusations. Morong Shuang's intention was to never admit it. Indeed, as she said, without any evidence, how could she pin the blame on her? When the time comes, she could only rely on Mu Lianfeng's trust. Even so, without evidence, it would not be easy for Mu Lianfeng to blame Zhao Yuner. Miss, don't be long-winded with her. Let's go out and watch the show. The maid at the side reminded. The smile on Morong Shuang's face disappeared as she nodded and replied, All right. Before Morong Shuang left the house, she called out to the beggars, Serve me well. Zhao Yuner's body slowly warmed up. Hua Manla's aphrodisiac really took effect. The desire in her heart grew stronger. Zhao Yuner tried her best to control herself and keep herself awake. However, she could hold on for a while. The eyes of these beggars, who had not seen a woman for a long time, were already shining when they saw a delicate woman like Zhao Yuner. They could not wait to pounce on her. These people slowly approached Zhao Yuner and began to untie the ropes on Zhao Yuner's body. Zhao Yuner felt her body loosen, and she gained a moment of freedom. The wolf-like beggars wiped the saliva from the corners of their mouths and smiled wretchedly. Little lady, don't be afraid. We'll serve you well and make sure you're comfortable. Yes, yes, little beauty. Serve us well, and we'll make sure you're satisfied. Chapter 2060. Now that she was no longer bound by ropes, she could more or less evade them. However, her body was very hot and her head was dizzy. She could not muster much strength. His resistance was only temporary. It wasn't difficult for him to escape with his body in this state. Morong Shuang, the man in black, and the man in gray were standing guard outside the door to ensure that there were no accidents. Zhao Yun'er's brows were tightly knitted together. Her eyes became gloomy as she stared at the beggars who were approaching. Little lady, you have some skills. What are you hiding for? You can't escape from our palms anyway. Why don't you submit to us and we can have fun together? Little lady, there are still people outside. You can hide for now, but you can't hide forever. Why don't you submit to us? We can be gentler to you and be more careful. It won't hurt too much. The beggars stepped forward and forced Zhao Yun'er into a corner. Zhao Yun'er coldly scolded, "Get out of here. If you know what's good for you, get out of here." As soon as Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, a beggar's hand landed on her shoulder and gave her a heavy tug. Zhao Yun'er staggered and fell to the ground. The beggars took advantage of the situation and wanted to take off her clothes. Zhao Yun'er fell to the ground. Her body was very soft, and she could not muster any strength. Just as she was about to lose all hope, she suddenly heard the door being kicked open with a bang. Then, the man in black and the man in gray were kicked to the ground. As for Morong Shuang, she was also pushed to the ground. "My lady, are you all right? My lady?" Morong Shuang's maid quickly rushed to Morong Shuang and asked with concern. Zhao Yun'er also looked towards the door and a ray of hope ignited in her heart. She thought that Mu Lianfeng had come to save her. When she looked up, she saw that the person standing at the door was actually Yi Li, whom she had not seen for a long time. Zhao Yun'er was slightly stunned. Why was he here? Didn't he leave for a long time? Why was he back in one piece? She actually ran over to save her? While Zhao Yun'er was puzzled, Yi Li shouted at the beggars with a cold face. "Let her go, don't touch her." The beggars were also slightly stunned by the sudden change in the situation. Faced with Yi Li's somewhat infatuated gaze, they all trembled in fear. With just one look, they knew that the man in front of them was not to be trifled with. His kung fu was extraordinary. If they disobeyed him, they would only suffer. Who is this person? He doesn't look easy to deal with. That's right. His kung fu is so high. We definitely can't deal with him. Let's run away quickly. Go, go, go. Let's hurry up and run. Life is more important. Money and women are useless when you're dead. That's right, that's right. Several beggars whispered a few words to each other and quickly dispersed from Zhao Yun'er's side. Yi Li quickly rushed in front of Zhao Yun'er and asked with concern, "Miss Yun'er, how are you? Are you all right?" After confirming that Zhao Yun'er's clothes were still intact and that they had not been stripped off, Yi Li heaved a heavy sigh of relief. However, when he saw Zhao Yun'er's flushed face and how it burned with just a touch, Yi Li could not help but frown again. He started to worry about Zhao Yun'er. What did you guys do to her? Yi Li's sharp gaze shot towards Morong Shuang, the man in gray and the man in black. Chapter 2061. After exchanging blows with Yi Li earlier, the men in black and gray knew that Yi Li's skills were out of the ordinary. If they continued to fight, they would only lose their lives. In the end, it was money and not life. Not to mention that they might not even be able to protect their own lives. What was the point of earning that little bit of money? The black-clothed man and the gray-clothed man hurriedly shirked their responsibility. "Hero, this has nothing to do with us. It was Miss Morong who did it. Everything was done by her. We only listened to her orders and took the money to do it. She gave this girl an aphrodisiac just now. I think it's taking effect now. But we didn't do anything to her. Great hero. Every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. If you want to pursue the matter, go to Miss Morong. Let us go, I beg you." When Yi Li heard that Morong Shuang had given Zhao Yun'er an aphrodisiac and arranged for so many beggars to come and defile Zhao Yun'er, his eyes revealed a hint of hatred. This woman's methods were too vicious. Other injuries were fine, but this kind of injury was probably more serious than taking Zhao Yun'er's life. Fortunately, he had discovered it in time and rushed over. Otherwise, Zhao Yun'er would have been defiled by now. Just thinking about it made Yi Li's chest hurt. It was so uncomfortable that he couldn't speak. Now that Zhao Yun'er had been given an aphrodisiac, and the effects of the aphrodisiac were taking effect, what should he do? What could he do to help Zhao Yun'er? After the men in black and gray finished speaking, Yi Li stared at Morong Shuang. He saw that Morong Shuang had a devastatingly beautiful face, but her heart was more vicious than snakes and scorpions. Compared to Zhao Yun'er, she was really 108,000 miles away, yet she still wanted to frame Zhao Yun'er. Morong Shuang was a little scared by Yi Li's stare. She weakly replied, "Who are you? What do you want?" Morong Shuang did not expect that a man would suddenly run over to save Zhao Yun'er. Moreover, he was so skilled that no one could beat him. "Who I am is not important. You'll know what I want in a moment." Yi Li replied coldly. She then turned to Zhao Yun'er and asked gently, "Yun'er, this woman treated you like this. She can't be forgiven. Tell me, how should we punish her?" At this time, Zhao Yun'er's face was flushed red. Her body was very uncomfortable, and her divine sense had become a little confused. Facing Yi Li, especially that exquisite face of Yi Li, there seemed to be a voice in her heart telling her to pounce on this handsome man and eat him up. The moment her spiritual consciousness sobered up, Zhao Yun'er once again suppressed this evil desire. She absolutely could not do this to Yi Li. More importantly, she could not make Mu Lianfeng a cuckold. Morong Shuang saw Yi Li and Zhao Yun'er like this. She scolded sarcastically, "Zhao Yun'er, you are really bitchy. Isn't it enough to have my cousin? You even seduced other men outside, and flirted with other men. A snake whose heart is not content will swallow an elephant. Zhao Yun'er, I don't know when my cousin will see your face clearly. It's really disgusting." Yi Li looked at Morong Shuang unhappily. For the sake of Zhao Yun'er's reputation, Yi Li sternly explained, "There is nothing between Yun'er and me. Please don't slander her. You are already like this. How can you say there is nothing between you? You two bitches. I must tell my cousin. Zhao Yun'er, you bitch." Chapter 2062. In addition to being vicious, this woman's mouth was equally vicious. How could anyone listen to what she said? From the looks of it, this kind of woman could not be let go. Although Zhao Yun'er did not answer him how he should punish Morong Shuang, Yi Li already had an answer in his heart. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Since Morong Shuang could do this kind of thing, it was not impossible for him to take revenge on Zhao Yun'er for this kind of thing. Yi Li stood up and looked at Morong Shuang condescendingly. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a cold arc. He said to Morong Shuang, "Which man would like a woman like you? You can't even compare to Yun'er's finger. Since you hurt Yun'er so much, I'll make you suffer." "You, what do you want?" Morong Shuang felt the danger emanating from Yi Li and asked worriedly. Yi Li did not answer Morong Shuang. Instead, he greeted the beggars on the side. "Do you want to live?" The beggars quickly nodded and responded, "Of course we want to live. Who doesn't want to live? Hero, this matter has nothing to do with us. Please let us go. We just received a little money. We were helping this lady. We really didn't want to hurt anyone. Hero, we're just a group of beggars. We're miserable enough. Please let us go. We won't dare to do it again." In the face of the beggars begging, Yi Li hooked up the corner of his mouth and ordered the beggars, "If you want me to let you go, it's easy. Just do something for me." The beggars said, "Hero, if there's anything you want us to do, just tell us. We'll do it if we can." "Yes, Hero. We'll do as you say, as long as you spare our lives." Yi Li stared at Morong Shuang on the ground, then said to the beggars, "What did this woman ask you to do to Yun'er? Now you're doing it to her." The beggars were stunned for a moment. After confirming it, they asked, "Hero, are you asking us to rape her?" Yi Li nodded. A few of the beggars began to worry. "Hero, this is the young miss of a high official's family. We are the lowest of beggars. How would we dare to touch her? Hero, why don't you change your conditions? We can't do it, and we don't dare to do it. Please don't make things difficult for us." In the end, the beggars were afraid of Morong Shuang's identity, because Morong Shuang was the daughter of a high-ranking official. In this day and age, the people that they could not afford to offend were officials. Yi Li sneered, "Since you're so afraid, then forget it. I won't force you. As for your lives, don't blame me for taking them." The beggars trembled in fear. Yili did not give them any leeway. If they didn't do it, they would die right now. What was the point of their worries? If he lost his life, there was no point in talking about anything else. Hero, we'll do it, we'll do it. We'll do as you say, as long as you spare our lives. As they spoke, the beggars walked towards Morong Shuang's direction. Morong Shuang's pupils constricted for a moment. She never expected that Zhao Yuner, who was supposed to be the one to be raped, would be raped. Now she was the one being raped. Chapter 2063. Morong Shuang's voice was very cold. The beggars were frightened by Morong Shuang's aura. Morong Shuang said again, "Don't you know who I am? You dare to touch me, do you want to die? If you dirty my body today, don't even think about keeping your lives." Morong Shuang's threat scared the beggars so much that they did not dare to come forward. They knew that it was not easy to keep their lives after offending someone like Morong Shuang. Just as the beggars were in a dilemma, Yi Li's voice rang out again. "Do you want to die now or later? If you don't follow my orders, you will die right now. If you do, you will still have a chance to escape. As long as you hide far away, with how big the Great Zhou country is, even if she has any influence, it wouldn't be that easy to catch you, right?" After Yi Li's analysis, the beggars felt that it was indeed so. Whether they would live or not was a matter for the future. The most important thing now was to keep their lives. Even if they could live for a few more days, it would be good. "Hero, we will listen to you." Yes, yes, we will listen to the hero's orders. If we keep our lives now, we will have a chance to live in the future. It is better than us dying here. Miss Morong, we're sorry. We had no choice but to act against you. Who doesn't want to live these days? You have to understand us. The beggars said. They did not care about anything else and surrounded Morong Shuang. Then the beggars' black claws began to undress Morong Shuang. Morong Shuang screamed a few times. Let me go, you stinky beggars. Do you think you can touch me? Get lost. Take your dirty hands away. Woo, let me go." No matter how Morong Shuang screamed or how she struggled, it was useless. In the hands of the beggars, she had no power to fight back. She could only let her clothes be taken off. "What are you doing? Let go of my young miss. You stinky beggars, aren't you too bold? You are dead for bullying my young miss." Morong Shuang's maid was so scared that her face turned ashen. She quickly stopped them. She knew that if anything happened to Morong Shuang, as her personal maid, she would be in trouble too. However, he and Morong Shuang were both women. Although these beggars were skinny, they were all men. It was easy for them to deal with two women. *TCH, don't get involved. Otherwise we'll deal with you too. A beggar threatened Morong Shuang's maid. Then with a gentle push, the maid fell to the ground. One of the beggars stepped forward to stop them, but the others did not stop what they were doing. Morong Shuang's clothes were stripped off in an instant. Morong Shuang's eyes reddened as her naked body was exposed to the air. A sense of humiliation filled her heart. Normally, she was the daughter of an official family, the young miss of a big family. She wouldn't even look at ordinary stinky men, but she didn't expect that she would expose her body to a group of beggars. In this lifetime, only her cousin could see her body. So what if a group of beggars saw it? Not to mention waiting for these beggars to defile her. He was too ashamed to face Mu Lianfeng in this situation. As soon as those beggars saw the naked Morong Shuang, their eyes immediately went straight. Chapter 2064. Any man who saw her would not be able to suppress the impulse in their heart, and would want to have a good time. To be able to sleep with such a woman, one could be considered to have reached the state of drunken stupor. As the saying goes, if one were to die under a peony, one would still be a romantic ghost. If Morong Shuang really wanted to seek revenge in the future, it would be fine. At least for now, they would have a good time. Based on Morong Shuang's appearance, even the top courtesan of Huaman Lu could not compare to her. However, to sleep with the top courtesan of Huaman Lu once, it would cost hundreds to thousands of taels of silver. If they could rape Morong Shuang this time, it would definitely be a profit for them. Brothers, come quickly. To be able to sleep with such a stunning woman, even if you die in the future, it won't be a pity. Yeah, it won't be a pity even if you lose your life. In any case, you can have fun. Such a beautiful woman. The taste of doing it will definitely be extraordinary. Stop talking, I'll go first. Let me have a taste. I'll go first, let me go first. No, I just took off her clothes. Naturally, I'll go first. Everyone has to pay attention to first come, first served. Don't fight, line up. A few beggars argued for a while, and finally discussed the order. A few of them helped to hold down Morong Shuang's hands and feet, so that Morong Shuang could not break free. The one who went first quickly took off his pants, and impatiently put his thing inside, having fun on Morong Shuang's body. An intense pain spread throughout Morong Shuang's body. Morong Shuang felt as if a sharp object had pierced her lower body, and she could not help but tremble in pain. However, the beggar who was galloping on her body did not pity her at all. Instead, the more he did it, the happier he felt, and the more his movements became. At this moment, aside from the heart-wrenching pain, Morong Shuang also felt unparalleled humiliation. Her body had been defiled by beggars, these smelly, old and ugly beggars. They actually touched her body. Morong Shuang suddenly felt disgusted and wanted to vomit. She cried out in pain and humiliation at the same time. Let me go, let me go. I'm going to kill each and every one of you. No, wouldn't it be too easy to kill you all? I'm going to turn each and every one of you into human swine. For treating me like this, I'll pay you back double. I'll make all of you wish you were dead. Morong Shuang's mournful voice echoed in the ruined house. Unfortunately, no one paid any attention to her shouts. The humiliation continued. When Morong Shuang took off her clothes, Yili shifted his sharp gaze away. He did not look at Morong Shuang's body like the other men. At the same time, he walked in front of Zhao Yun'er and blocked Zhao Yun'er's line of sight. He was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would see such a filthy scene later. His Yun'er was noble and pure in his heart, so she definitely couldn't see such a dirty scene. Zhao Yun'er's divine sense was muddled, but in a moment of clarity, she knew what Yili had done to Morong Shuang. Although this method was indeed cruel, Zhao Yun'er did not have the slightest bit of sympathy. How could she sympathize with Morong Shuang? If Yili had not rushed over in time, she would be the one suffering the same fate as Morong Shuang. Since she could be so cruel to her, when Yili made this decision, she could not stop him. Chapter 2065. Zhao Yun'er could hear the man's panting. She knew what was happening in the room. Being stirred up by these sounds, the desire in her body began to flare up again. Zhao Yun'er only felt that her chest was stuffy. Her body was also itchy and hot. She wished she could take off all her clothes at this moment to cool down. Hurry up. Once you're done, let's have a go. Don't hog it all to yourself. Some of the beggars who were watching from the side could not help but urge the man who was riding on Morong Shuang's body. The man replied reluctantly, Wait, what's the rush? I haven't had my fill yet. Then how long are you going to do it alone? Don't the rest of us have to do it? Hurry up, I'm dying of impatience. If you don't hurry up, we'll be suffocated. Alright. Soon. Don't rush me. The more you rush me, the more I can't get it out. Phew. When he finally came out, the beggar let out a sigh of relief. Glancing at the essence that he had left behind beneath Morong Shuang's body, he curled his lips into a satisfied smile and laughed. A long time ago, he also had a wife. However, after De Huang's death he escaped. His wife died on the way and he became a beggar. After so many years without a wife, he had not done this kind of thing for a long time. Now that he suddenly did it, and on such a beautiful woman's body, it was simply too satisfying. That feeling was something that his previous wives couldn't compare to. Now he did not care whether he lived or died. After all, he was a beggar with a cheap life. Today, he received such a great benefit. He would not have any regrets if he died someday. The other beggars quickly followed the previously discussed order, and continued to ride Morong Shuang's body. At first, Morong Shuang was screaming miserably. In the end, not only was there no effect, her voice was even hoarse from screaming. Morong Shuang's eyes widened in despair. Looking at the ceiling, her eyes were filled with sadness and emptiness. At this moment she even had the heart to die. Her body was defiled. Would her cousin still look at her in the eye? Would anyone still want her in the future? Perhaps it was better to die. In any case, if this matter were to be known by others, she would no longer have the courage to continue living. She did not want to become a joke in the mouths of other young ladies from official families. The pain in his lower body gradually became numb, and there was no reaction. She was lying on the ground like a puppet. When the beggars were almost done with their work, Yili found that Zhao Yun'er's situation was getting worse. He said to the beggars, "Well, your task has been completed. I will let you go now. You can go now." Several beggars hurriedly thanked Yili. "Thank you, hero." Yili did not say anything. Instead, he picked up Zhao Yun'er from the ground and walked out of the dilapidated house. He wanted to take Zhao Yun'er to the medical center. Maybe the medical center could help Zhao Yun'er get rid of the effects of the drug. Waiting for Yi Li and Zhao Yun'er to leave, Morong Shuang's maid thought that these beggars would be able to restrain themselves and forget about their young lady. However, how could these addicted beggars be willing to leave Morong Shuang's body? Even without Yi Li's oppression, they still wanted to continue to have fun. Chapter 2066. After a long time, the beggars finally stopped and left in groups, leaving Morong Shuang lying on the ground, unable to move. Morong Shuang was naked, and her body was covered in bruises, especially her lower body, which was stained with blood. It was a ghastly sight. Morong Shuang's maid was scared out of her wits. She rushed to Morong Shuang's side and asked, "Miss, how are you? Are you all right? Miss, say something. Don't be like me. If you died, I wouldn't be able to live either." "Miss," looking at Morong Shuang, who was lying on the ground with her eyes wide open and looking up at the ceiling, the maid was scared out of her wits. She thought that something serious had happened to Morong Shuang, and she didn't even say a word. It was really scary. "Miss," the maid reached out her hand in fear and put her finger under Morong Shuang's nose. Seeing that Morong Shuang didn't say anything, she thought that Morong Shuang was dead. If Morong Shuang was really dead, then the situation would be even more serious. Fortunately, when she put her finger under Morong Shuang's nose, she felt a trace of breath. The maid heaved a sigh of relief. "Miss, you don't have to say anything. How are you?" the maid begged as she cried. Morong Shuang suddenly reached out her hands and slapped the maid's face. Slap! A red handprint appeared on the little handmaiden's face. Morong Shuang had used the last of her strength to slap the little handmaiden. The little handmaiden was stunned for a moment. Feeling the burning pain on her face, the maid's lips trembled, and she asked Morong Shuang, "Miss, what happened to you? Why did you hit me?" Seeing the maid's aggrieved face, Morong Shuang's face twisted and her gloomy eyes fell on the maid. "Why weren't you the one who went through all this? Miss, why couldn't you stop them? You're just a good-for-nothing. What's the use of having you?" "Miss, I couldn't stop them. I'm just a weak woman. I'm no match for them. If I could, I'd like to take your place." The little handmaiden wiped her eyes with her sleeve and sobbed. "Hee hee, what's the use of saying all this now? I've been destroyed. It's too late. Why? Wasn't it Zhao Yun'er who went through all this today? How did it become like this?" Morong Shuang found it hard to imagine how such a sudden change could happen, and caught her unprepared. If she knew what happened, she would never have chosen to lay a hand on Zhao Yun'er. However, it was too late to say all this now. Some things had already happened, and they could not be changed or erased. Morong Shuang, who had once been arrogant, might have died today. Morong Shuang could not find a reason to live. She would only become a joke in the future, and would be despised by her cousin. Then what was the point of living in this world? The maid's face to see Morong Shuang's face. "Young miss, this servant will help you put on your clothes and send you to the medical hall. You've suffered such heavy injuries. If you don't treat them properly, you might even lose your life." Chapter 2067. After the little handmaiden finished speaking, she picked up Morong Shuang's torn clothes from the floor and hurriedly helped her put them back on. Unfortunately, these clothes were already torn and shredded. Even if Morong Shuang put them back on, they could only cover up her embarrassment. If anyone were to see her in such a disheveled state, it was likely that gossip would spread. Moreover, how could she carry Morong Shuang with her frail body? It would not be easy to get Morong Shuang back to her room. After giving it some thought, the little handmaiden said to Morong Shuang, "My lady, you can't go out like this. Why don't you rest here for a while? I'll go back to the Crown Prince's mansion and find you a set of clean clothes. Then I'll call for some help." Morong Shuang did not make a sound. She continued to stare blankly at the ceiling. The little handmaiden sighed. She could not care less at the moment. She could only do as she said. After glancing at Morong Shuang, the little handmaiden got up and left. Sigh. Not long after, the little handmaiden hurried back to the Crown Prince's mansion with some helping clothes. Then, she returned and helped Morong Shuang bring them back. On the other hand, after Yi Li carried Zhao Yun'er away, in Yi Li's arms, Zhao Yun'er realized that the effects of the medicine had become stronger. Her body was warm, and she desperately wanted to vent. Her body uncontrollably burrowed into Yi Li's arms. Yi Li looked at the blushing Zhao Yun'er in his arms, who could not stop rubbing against him. His heart could not help but tremble. A strange feeling surged into his heart. "Yun'er." Yi Li could not help but murmur. "MMM." Zhao Yun'er let out a low moan. Her voice was soft and fluffy. Anyone who heard it would feel their heart being stirred. How could he not have any reaction when he had a soft jade in his arms, especially when he was facing the woman he liked? Yi Li couldn't help but swallow. He was still suppressing the feelings in his heart, suppressing those thoughts that he shouldn't have. He quickened his pace and rushed to the clinic with Zhao Yun'er. After a while, Yi Li and Zhao Yun'er finally arrived at the clinic. "Where is the doctor? Doctor, come quickly and treat her." Yi Li shouted anxiously. "Young master, there are more patients today. There are still many people waiting in line. You should go and line up as well. When it's your turn, you can come over." Seeing Yi Li cut in line, the doctor in the clinic greeted Yi Li. Yi Li glanced at the people in the clinic. There were indeed a lot of people. If he waited any longer, by the time these people finished treating their illnesses, who knew what would happen to Zhao Yun'er? Yi Li did not dare to gamble with Zhao Yun'er's health. He only hoped that the doctor could take a look at Zhao Yun'er as soon as possible. "Doctor, I'm in a hurry. Can you take a look at me first?" Yi Li begged. The doctor frowned and refused. "You're in a hurry. Who isn't in a hurry to see a doctor? If I make an exception and let you take a look first, it would be unfair to the others. You should line up one by one. Do you think I'll only let you take a look at me then? I have to follow the rules. If you don't think it's possible, then go to another clinic." Chapter 2068. First come, first served. Since we queued up first, it's only natural for us to go first. Who wouldn't be anxious when they come to see a doctor? They hope that the doctor can help them as soon as possible. My stomach is still hurting so much that I can't breathe. I'm still waiting obediently. That's right. Could it be that you're the only one who's in a hurry? Others aren't. Young man, you should line up obediently. Don't cut in line, and don't make things difficult for the doctor. Yi Li couldn't help but frown when he heard the words of the doctor and the other patients. If he continued to wait, it would definitely be too late. In the current situation, he didn't know how long it would take for him to find another medical center. He would definitely be delayed on the way. Moreover, when he was asking for directions, the passers-by told him that this medical center had the best doctor in the entire capital. If he took Zhao Yun'er to another place, the other doctors might not be able to help Zhao Yun'er solve her current situation. Faced with this situation, Yi Li had no choice but to draw his sword and place it on the doctor's neck. "Are you going to take a look now? If you don't, I'll kill you." The doctor trembled for a moment. Who would have thought that Yi Li would threaten him like this? Everyone was afraid of death. Although he was a doctor, he was no exception. Yes, I'll take a look now. Young master, don't be rash. Be careful of the sword in your hand. Don't touch me," the doctor replied in a trembling voice. He no longer had the domineering aura from before. The other patients didn't dare to say anything. Faced with a crazy man like Yi Li, if they said anything, the sword on the doctor's neck might fall on their necks. They weren't fools. They didn't want to die and provoke this kind of person. Yi Li said in a low voice, "As long as you treat my illness, I won't hurt you." The doctor quickly nodded and replied, Yes. "Young master, please come in. Bring your young lady to the inner room. I'll take a good look." Yili responded, then carried Zhao Yuner to the inner room of the medical center. There was a couch inside. The doctor asked Yili to place Zhao Yuner on the couch, then let Zhao Yuner lie down. He then helped Zhao Yuner to check on her condition. After taking a look, the doctor immediately understood what was going on. "Doctor, how is it? Was there anything wrong with her? How can you treat her?" The doctor replied, "Young master, this young lady was only drugged with aphrodisiac is not a problem. As long as she had intercourse, the drug would naturally dissipate, and she would not have any major problems. From the looks of it, young master and young lady should be husband and wife, right? Why don't young master do it now? The girl will be fine soon." When Yili heard the doctor's words, her face immediately turned red. He and Yuner? How could that be? Although he liked Zhao Yuner very much, if he had sex with Zhao Yuner in this situation, he could still save Zhao Yuner's life. But he wasn't a shameless person. If he took advantage of Zhao Yuner in this situation, it would only make him feel disdain. When Zhao Yuner recovered her divine sense, she would inevitably hate him and blame him. When that time came, they couldn't even be friends. That would be a huge waste. Chapter 2069. The doctor furrowed his brows, then shook his head and sighed. Aside from sexual intercourse, there's no other way to solve this problem. Young master, if you don't want this girl to lose her life, then you should take her. I'm sure she won't blame you if she finds out. In the end, chastity isn't as important as life. In the future, you can just marry each other. It's not a big deal. Yili was unwilling to give up and asked, "Doctor, is there really no other way?" The doctor shook his head again. "Young master, there really isn't. I'm not the only one who doesn't have a way. I'm afraid all the doctors in the capital won't be able to find a way. Young master, please forgive this old man for not being able to help." Yili's expression darkened. From the doctor's expression, it seemed like there really wasn't any other way. He couldn't force the doctor to do something against his will. Even if he killed the doctor now, he still wouldn't be able to save Zhao Yuner. The doctor stood up and said to Yili, "Young master, I'll leave the inner room to you. This old man will go out and help treat the other patients. Young master, have you thought about whether or not to use this method to save this girl?" After the doctor finished speaking, he stood up and left. Yili glanced at Zhao Yuner, who was lying on the couch. At this moment, Zhao Yuner's face was even redder and hotter. Her condition was even worse than before. As for Zhao Yuner, because her body was getting hotter and hotter, she continuously tore at her clothes. "So hot," Zhao Yuner muttered. Her mouth was dry and astringent. It was very uncomfortable. Yili stood by the side, watching over her. He was very anxious, but there was nothing he could do. He didn't feel good, especially when he saw Zhao Yuner's pained expression. Yili felt his heart ache terribly. "Yuner," Yili whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear. Zhao Yuner opened her eyes and looked at Yili's handsome and exquisite face. "You keep your distance from me. Stay away from me," Zhao Yuner said with some difficulty. "Yuner?" Yili was a little confused. He didn't know what Zhao Yuner meant. Could it be that she was blaming him? Seeing Yili's confusion, Zhao Yuner furrowed her brows in pain and explained with some difficulty. "You're too close to me. I'm afraid I won't be able to resist eating you." Yili was stunned. Then, he understood what Zhao Yuner meant by eating him. Her face couldn't help but turn red. According to Zhao Yuner's words, she helped to keep a distance from Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner felt that she was about to lose control of herself. She had to do something. When she completely lost her divine sense, she was really afraid that she would do something impulsive. Zhao Yuner reached out and touched the hairpin on her head. Then she took it off. Gritting his teeth, he hardened his heart and cut open a huge wound on his arm. Then blood gushed out from her arm. At this time, Zhao Yuner felt a trace of pain. It was this pain that made her sober up a lot. The smell of blood filled her nose. But Zhao Yuner hooked up the corner of her mouth and smiled. Because this sober feeling diluted the desire in her body, she felt a lot better. Yili was a little frightened. Seeing Zhao Yuner's bleeding arm, he hurriedly asked Zhao Yuner, Yuner, what are you doing? How can you hurt yourself? Hurry and stop. Chapter 2070. Yuner. Zhao Yuner furrowed her brows in pain, then said in a low voice, Yili. Thank you for today. Can I trouble you to send me back now? Okay. Yili quickly responded. Zhao Yuner thanked him gratefully. Thank you. If Yili hadn't appeared in time today, she didn't know what would have happened. But in her current situation, she couldn't say much, so she could only endure it. She would thank Yili again when she got better. Yili shook his head. Yuner, why are you being so polite with me? I'm willing to do anything for you. As Yili spoke, he carried Zhao Yuner in his arms and walked out of the clinic. He rented a carriage on the street and hurriedly sent Zhao Yuner back to Shuilan village. On the way, he kept urging the coachman to hurry up, afraid that Zhao Yuner would be delayed. After about 10 minutes, they finally arrived at Zhao Yuner's home. Along the way, because Zhao Yuner's wound was bleeding, Zhao Yuner's lips gradually became pale, and a layer of cold sweat seeped out from her forehead. Yili was also worried the whole way. It was really the first time she had seen a woman treat herself like this. How cruel must she be to hurt herself so deeply? But because of this, Yili felt that Zhao Yuner was different from other women. Compared to Zhao Yuner, those ordinary women were not worth mentioning. When they arrived at Zhao Yuner's house, Yili quickly greeted Zhao Yuner's family. At this moment, he saw Mu Lianfeng walk out of the house. He originally wanted to carry Zhao Yuner out of the carriage, but he knew that in front of Zhao Yuner's family, especially Mu Lianfeng, who might be staying at Zhao Yuner's house, he was afraid that others would have misunderstandings. It didn't matter what others thought of him. What was important was that he was afraid of affecting Zhao Yuner. What happened to Yuner? When Mu Lianfeng heard that something had happened to Zhao Yuner, his face instantly turned pale, and he quickly rushed in the direction of the carriage. He opened the curtain and saw Zhao Yuner, who was covered in blood and had a pale face. When Mu Lianfeng saw this situation, his heart skipped a beat. Yuner. When Zhao Yuner heard Mu Lianfeng's voice, she looked up. Yuner, what happened to you? At this moment, Zhao Yuner was so weak that she couldn't speak. Yili quickly said, Miss Yuner's arm is injured and she's bleeding a lot. You'd better take her back to the house first. We'll explain this matter later. Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment. Then he quickly carried Zhao Yuner out of the carriage and carried her back to the house. Zhao Yuner's family was also badly frightened. When Liang Jinxiao saw the blood-stained Zhao Yuner in Mu Lianfeng's arms, he immediately felt his legs go weak. If Zhao Wenhua hadn't supported him in time, he would have fallen to the ground. Yuner's father. What happened to Yuner? Liang Jinxiao's lips trembled as he asked worriedly. Zhao Wenhua's face was also dark as he looked worriedly at Zhao Yuner. He shook his head and said, I also don't know what happened to Yuner. Yuner's father, your daughter is covered in blood. One look, and you can tell that she's seriously injured. What should we do? Liang Jinxiao muttered worriedly. Chapter 2071. Liang Jinxiao could only comfort himself like this. Yes. Yuner must be fine. Bodhisattva, please bless her well. Don't let anything happen to her. After silently reciting this sentence, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were about to go into the room to check on Zhao Yuner's condition. But they were stopped by Yili. Uncle, Aunt, it's better if you don't go. Let the heir take care of her. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were somewhat puzzled. Why does this young master say that? Yuner's injuries are so serious that we can't help but worry. That's why we want to check on Yuner's condition. If there's anything we can help with, we can help in time. Yili's face slightly reddened, and he weakly explained to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Yuner's injuries are not serious. She'll be fine after being properly treated and bandaged. The reason why she looks so serious is because she was drugged with an aphrodisiac. Yili explained the situation. Although it was a little melodramatic, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao still understood. Now that they thought about it, it was really thanks to Yili that Zhao Yuner could be saved today. The couple was very grateful. They immediately knelt in front of Yili and said to Yili, Benefactor, our Yuner owes you a lot. If it weren't for you, we don't know what our daughter would be like right now. The reason why Yuner is safe and sound is all thanks to you. You are our great benefactor. We can't repay you even if we work like a cow or a horse. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua both knew that if Zhao Yuner lost her innocence, the consequences would be as serious as Zhao Yuner losing her life. Yili acted in time to save Zhao Yuner from being tainted, which was equivalent to saving her life. Yili was slightly stunned by Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua's reactions. He quickly helped them up from the ground. Uncle, Auntie, don't be like this. Get up quickly. I'm just a junior. I can't bear it. I volunteered to help Yuner. I didn't expect anyone to be grateful to me. Even though Yili said so, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were still very grateful to Yili. Benefactor, you must be tired. Come in and have a seat. Drink some water. Liang Jinxiao said. Yili hesitated for a moment and was a little embarrassed to go in. No. I think I should head back. Yili declined. Liang Jinxiao looked at the sky. After all the commotion, the sky was almost dark. If he rushed back now, he didn't know if he could make it in time. Of course, the most important thing was that he saved their daughter. In any case, they had to show some appreciation and entertain him. Otherwise, once Yili left, they wouldn't know where to find him. They wouldn't even have a chance to express their gratitude. Benefactor, it's getting late. Why don't you stay at my house for the night? I have a lot of rooms at home. It's fine to tidy up a room, Liang Jinxiao pleaded. Zhao Wenhua also chimed in. That's right, Benefactor. Why don't you stay at our house for the night? We'll cook a few more dishes tonight to entertain you and express our gratitude more or less. And Yuner definitely wants to thank you in person. Yili wanted to refuse, but Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were very attentive. One after another, Yili didn't know how to interrupt. In the end, Yili had no choice but to nod and agree to stay for the night. Actually, he was still worried about Zhao Yuner. He could only rest assured when he made sure that Zhao Yuner was completely fine. Chapter 2072. If he stayed today, it would be good if he could talk to Zhao Yuner more. He had left Yang City for so long, and he came back this time to see Zhao Yuner. If he stayed, he would naturally have more time to interact with Zhao Yuner. Uncle, Auntie, I'll have to trouble you then. Yili was a little embarrassed as he said to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao quickly waved his hand. It's no trouble at all. Please come in, Benefactor. Okay. As for Zhao Yuner, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly carried Zhao Yuner into the house. Then, he placed Zhao Yuner on the bed and hurriedly rummaged through the cabinets to find the wound medicine that he had brought with him. Blood was still seeping out of Zhao Yuner's arm from time to time. It was obvious that it was very serious. Mu Lianfeng first brought a basin of hot water and wiped the blood off Zhao Yuner's arm. Then, he applied the wound medicine on Zhao Yuner's arm, and the bleeding stopped immediately. Mu Lianfeng found a clean white cloth and gently bandaged the wound on Zhao Yuner's arm. Then, he saw that Zhao Yuner's face was still very pale, and her expression was even more painful. Mu Lianfeng asked gently, Yuner, do you still feel pain anywhere on your body? Where else are you hurt? Zhao Yuner shook her head. No. The pain in her arm had indeed subsided a lot, but it was precisely because of this that Zhao Yuner's desire rose again. The original pain had suppressed the desire with great difficulty. Now that the pain was gone, another feeling naturally rushed to her heart. But why do you look so uncomfortable? Mu Lianfeng frowned, his face full of worry. Then, he reached out and touched Zhao Yuner's forehead. Seeing that Zhao Yuner's forehead suddenly became boiling hot, Mu Lianfeng immediately panicked. What's going on? Yuner, I'd better get a doctor to take a look at you. Lie down first. After all, he was not a doctor. He really could not tell the reason for Zhao Yuner's discomfort, and he did not dare to delay, afraid that he would make a mistake. If anything happened to Zhao Yuner, he could not afford to delay it. There's no need. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to get up and leave, Zhao Yuner hurriedly grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand and called out to him. Yuner. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yuner with some confusion. There's no need to get a doctor. You're enough. Zhao Yuner said softly. Mu Lianfeng was slightly stunned. No one understood the meaning of Zhao Yuner's words. Zhao Yuner did not explain. She directly pounced on Mu Lianfeng. Her small hands began to grope Mu Lianfeng's body mischievously. Mu Lianfeng's body trembled. Yin looking at the person in his arms, her small face was red. She was shy and at the same time, she looked very cute. Zhao Yin'er did not stop. She gently groped a few times and unbuttoned Mu Lianfeng's clothes. Mu Lianfeng was even more puzzled. He grabbed Zhao Yin'er's hand and said to Zhao Yin'er, "Yin'er, don't mess around. You're injured. How can you mess around like this? What if you tug on your wound?" "Oh, it's okay." Zhao Yin'er replied softly again. Her body was still leaning on Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng was really helpless. "Yin'er, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? You're injured, why are you still?" Zhao Yin'er lifted her blushing face and looked at Mu Lianfeng's handsome face. Then with a smack sound she kissed him. Chapter 2073. It was really Zhao Yin'er's soft words that made Mu Lianfeng's heart tremble slightly. He wasn't an abstinent man, so how could he stand being provoked by the woman he liked? Mu Lianfeng's throat moved, and he called out in a low voice, "Yin'er, I want it. Give it to me." Zhao Yin'er looked at him pitifully, as if she was begging. "Yin'er, why do you suddenly want this in the middle of the day? Why don't we wait until nighttime?" Mu Lianfeng hesitated and asked. In the past, when he wanted to do this to Zhao Yin'er during the day, Zhao Yin'er rejected him very strictly. He did not expect Zhao Yin'er to take the initiative to ask. So Mu Lianfeng felt that something was wrong with Zhao Yin'er. He was afraid that there was something wrong with Zhao Yin'er. He couldn't take advantage of the situation and attack Zhao Yin'er at this time. "No, I want it now. Yin'er, I'm so hot." Zhao Yin'er could not control her body. She did not care so much and directly unbuttoned her clothes. Mu Lianfeng saw that Zhao Yin'er's entire body had become hot, and her reaction was so abnormal. He frowned and thought for a while, and found that Zhao Yin'er was abnormal. Zhao Yin'er seemed to have been drugged with an aphrodisiac. He had heard a little about the effects of this drug, although he was not sure if Zhao Yin'er was really drugged with this drug, and did not understand why Zhao Yin'er was drugged with this drug. It was obvious that Zhao Yin'er's body needed to be relieved. If she was not satisfied, she would probably die of discomfort. Zhao Yin'er unbuttoned her clothes, revealing her smooth body. It was the first time that Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yin'er like this in the daytime. How could he restrain himself? He had never seen Zhao Yin'er like this before. Seeing that Zhao Yin'er was about to climb over again, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly got up and closed the doors and windows. It was too dangerous to do this in the daytime. If someone broke in and saw it, it would be very embarrassing. After closing the door and windows, Mu Lianfeng came to the bedside. He did not need Zhao Yin'er to continue to provoke him. He also could not control himself, and began to press down on her. The two of them tossed and turned. Mu Lianfeng was a little careful when he did it, for fear of hurting Zhao Yin'er's arm. When it was over, the temperature of Zhao Yin'er's hot little face dissipated a lot, and her whole person gradually became sober. Mu Lianfeng was then sure that Zhao Yin'er was indeed under the influence of an aphrodisiac. At the same time, a hint of sharpness flashed across his eyes. If he found out who treated Yin'er like this, he would definitely not let them off easily. "Yin'er, how are you now?" Zhao Yin'er faced Mu Lianfeng with her naked body. She awkwardly tugged at the blanket and covered her body. Then she smiled and said, "I'm fine now." This aphrodisiac was really a little strange. When she was unable to have sex, she felt as if she was bitten by a group of mosquitoes. When it was over, she would immediately be fine. If it were not for Mu Lianfeng, she reckoned that she would have suffocated to death after holding it in for a while. "That's good." Mu Lianfeng breathed a sigh of relief. Then he asked what had happened. Zhao Yin'er did not hide anything. She did not want to forgive or understand what that woman, Morong Shuang, had done to her. Even though she knew that that woman was Mu Lianfeng's cousin, and that Mu Lianfeng might be in a difficult position, she wanted to know Mu Lianfeng's attitude. If Mu Lianfeng was biased or was not prepared to do anything, she would be very disappointed in this man. Chapter 2074. Mu Lianfeng clenched his fists tightly. With a gloomy face he said coldly, "That girl has gone too far. Yin'er, I'm going to look for her now. How could a lady from a respectable family do such a dirty thing? Since she's so shameless, I don't have to care about her reputation. I must make her pay for this. Even if she dies, she won't be able to make up for her actions. I won't let her off easily for Auntie's sake. Mu Lianfeng pretended to get up and look for Morong Shuang to settle things. He was really angry this time. If Zhao Yun'er hadn't been rescued this time, he couldn't imagine the consequences. If something happened to Zhao Yun'er, perhaps the two of them wouldn't be able to bear the pain. As for Morong Shuang, a debt of blood must be paid in blood. She was so vicious, she naturally deserved the same punishment. Although Morong Shuang was his cousin, Zhao Yun'er was more important to him. I'm going to catch her now. Yun'er, you can punish her however you want. She owes you this. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to go look for Morong Shuang, Zhao Yun'er grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand. Zhao Yun'er didn't tell Mu Lianfeng that Morong Shuang's innocence had been sullied. If he went now, he would definitely be discovered. Forget it. It's already very late. Let's go tomorrow. I'm a little tired too. I want to rest well. Zhao Yun'er said softly. Yun'er, don't you want to punish her now? Don't worry about her leaving Yang City. If she goes to the capital, it'll be difficult for me to catch her. After all, his power didn't have any foundation in the capital. On the other hand, the Morong family was powerful and had some connections with Imperial Consort Hua. When Morong Shuang returned to the capital, it wouldn't be easy to settle the score with Morong Shuang. His aunts and uncles are all protective. Zhao Yun'er's innocence may not be put in their eyes, let alone looking for them to reason with anything. Now, the most important thing was to catch Morong Shuang as soon as possible and punish her as soon as possible. Otherwise, undue delay might lead to other problems. Zhao Yun'er still shook her head. No, even if she leaves, it's God's arrangement. I believe that bad people will have their own retribution. Morong Shuang had already been gang raped. Mu Lianfeng had really caught her. Zhao Yun'er did not think of any other punishment. Could it be that he was going to ask her to reincarnate? After what Yi Li had done, Zhao Yun'er had vented her anger. The reason why she still mentioned it to Mu Lianfeng now was to let Mu Lianfeng understand what Morong Shuang had done. She wanted him to know how vicious and evil Morong Shuang was. Now that Morong Shuang had lost her virginity and made Mu Lianfeng hate her, it must be the most painful thing for her. Okay, Yun'er, I'll listen to you. When you're better, I'll go and settle the score with her tomorrow. Okay, Zhao Yun'er replied weakly. Just as she got dressed and lay down to rest, Zhao Yun'er thought of Mulan. She had been caught and Mulan had been knocked unconscious. She was still on the mountain and didn't know if she had woken up. There were so many beasts on the mountain that it was easy to get into danger. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly told Mu Lianfeng to go up the mountain and look for her. He must not let anything happen to Mulan. Chapter 2075. Mulan had been running all the way. Now that she was speaking in front of Mu Lianfeng, she was panting and a little out of breath. Her flustered expression made her look very anxious. If he didn't know that Zhao Yun'er was back, he would probably be anxious too when he saw Mulan in this state. Mu Lianfeng asked Mulan, "Sister-in-law Mulan, are you all right?" Mulan waved her hand, then patted her chest and panted heavily. She replied to Mu Lianfeng, "Sir, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Hurry up and save Yun'er. Yun'er has been kidnapped by two bad guys. She's in danger now. Sister-in-law Mulan, Yun'er has just been rescued by someone. She's worried about your situation and afraid that you're in danger, so she asked me to come and see you," Mu Lianfeng explained. Upon hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Mulan was slightly stunned. "Sir, is it true? Yun'er is back now. Is she all right?" Mu Lianfeng nodded heavily. "Yes, she's lying in the room now. She should be fine if she has a good rest." Mulan felt that the heavy stone pressing on her chest had finally been lifted. She heaved a long sigh of relief, then said happily, That's good. Yun'er is indeed lucky. She's fine. I was almost scared to death." Mu Lianfeng pursed his lips and replied politely, "Sister-in-law Mulan, why don't you go into the room to check on Yun? You two are worried about each other." "Okay." Mulan responded and rushed into Zhao Yun'er's room. As soon as she entered the room, she saw Zhao Yun'er sitting on the bed. Her face was pale, and her arm was still bandaged. Mulan hurried over and asked, Yuner, how are you? Where are you hurt? Sister Mulan, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Zhao Yuner smiled and comforted her. How about you? How are you? Did you encounter any danger? How could I encounter any danger? No matter how powerful the beasts on the mountain are, they are not as scary as humans. The two men who captured you looked very fierce. It was obvious that they were up to no good. You were taken away by these people. How can I not be worried? Mulan let out a long sigh, worry written all over her face. Alright, aren't I back now? Sometimes you can't avoid bad luck. But if you're lucky, you can always escape danger. That's right, Yuner. You're a good person. You'll be fine. The two of them chatted for a while. Seeing that it was getting late, and that Mulan had to prepare dinner, they went back. Mulan sent Zhao Yun'er's share of the mushrooms and game that they brought back from the mountain. The mushrooms could be made into soup at night. It would definitely be very delicious. As for the wild rabbit, it would taste very good regardless of whether it was roasted or braised. In the evening, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu came back from playing crazily outside. Usually, the two children had never played so late. If it weren't for the fact that something happened to Zhao Yun'er today, and the adults' attention was not on the children, the two children would definitely be anxious to come back so late. As soon as he saw Daodu and Zhao Tianfu come back, Liang Jinxiao hurriedly asked, Oh, why did the two of you come back so late? It's getting dark. It's dangerous outside. Don't play so late next time. Come back earlier, okay? Yes, Grandma, we know. Uncle and I played with snails today. Look, we got a lot of snails. Chapter 2076. There were a lot of these screws in the irrigation ditches of the paddy fields this season, and they could be fished up at will. However, the villagers didn't eat them, as they felt that the meat inside was too fishy, and there wasn't much oil. Of course, the most important thing was that the shell of the snail was so hard that it would take a lot of effort to eat the meat inside. Rather than eating these things, it was more practical to eat wild vegetables. Liang Jinxiao said gently to Daodu, Daodu, next time, don't bring these things back with your uncle. Screws don't taste good. Daodu frowned and said to Liang Jinxiao in a soft voice, Grandma, but mother said that these things are delicious, so Daodu and uncle brought them back. Is that so? Liang Jinxiao was a little confused. If it was Zhao Yun'er who said it, then it might really be edible. Many things that others thought were inedible could become delicious when Zhao Yun'er made them. Perhaps this time was no exception. Okay then. Grandma will keep the snails and wait for your mother to cook them later. Aha! A bright smile appeared on Daoda's little face. Liang Jinxiao saw that Daoda's body and face were covered in mud, so she hurriedly said, Grandma will get some water for you to wash your hands, and wipe your face first. Look at the two of you now, both of you are covered in dirt and dirty. It's better to clean up. We'll have to cook in a while and get ready to eat. Okay. Daoda responded obediently. At this moment, Yili walked out of the house and saw Daodu. Daodu ran over excitedly as soon as he saw Yili. Handsome uncle, why are you here? Mu Lianfeng lowered his head to look at the adorable little bun in front of him. His lips curled into a warm smile as he asked Lil P, That's right. Am I not welcome? Of course you're welcome, handsome uncle. Where have you been all this time? Daoda hasn't seen you in a long time. Daoda said in a soft voice. Daoda admired Yili a lot, and looked at Yili with eyes that shone like stars. Yili felt a soft spot in his heart being touched. Facing such a soft and cute little bun, Yili really had no resistance. I was away for a while because of some matters, but I'm back now. That's great, Daoda can play with you, handsome uncle. Daoda excitedly held Yili's hand. When he's back, Daoda's father's Daoda was his biological son, so he naturally wanted Daoda to be closer to him and not Yili. As a man, Mu Lianfeng had a sense of vigilance and intuition when facing Yili. Today, Yili saved Zhao Yun'er, so he knew that this man was definitely interested in Zhao Yun'er. His Yun'er belonged to him alone, so he naturally didn't want to touch another man. However, Yili did save Zhao Yun'er. If it weren't for him, who knew what would have happened to Zhao Yun'er today? As a rational person, he knew what he should do. Mu Lianfeng walked up to Yi Li and said to Yi Li, "Yuner already told me what happened. Thank you for saving Yuner today. I can give you any reward you want as a way to repay your kindness today. If you need anything in the future, don't hesitate to ask. I'll definitely help you wherever I can." Chapter 2077. How could Yi Li not know that Mu Lianfeng was trying to distance himself from him by saying this? He was trying to make Zhao Yuner distance herself from him as well, making them seem estranged. And he hated seeing this kind of situation the most. When he saved Zhao Yuner, he never cared about gains and losses or rewards. His heart was filled with Zhao Yuner. Even if he had to give up his life for Zhao Yuner, he would not have any complaints. Right now, he just happened to save Zhao Yuner, so he naturally did not ask for anything in return. Yi Li spoke a lot, so Mu Lianfeng became more vigilant. He hoped that Yi Li would open his mouth and state some conditions, so that he could satisfy him. Now that he did not mention any conditions, it would only make him feel even more guilty. This young master, if you don't ask for anything, Yuner and I will feel guilty in our hearts. Do you really not want anything? Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment before he asked with some hesitation. Yuner and I are friends. Do you think that when friends help each other, we would care about gains and losses? Yi Li smiled and asked in return. His smile was very calm. Mu Lianfeng was slightly startled when he saw this. Yi Li continued, "I know that the person Yuner likes is you. You can rest assured that I am not a vile person. I will not do those dirty things. Yuner and I are friends. You don't have to be on guard against me." Mu Lianfeng looked into Yi Li's eyes. His eyes were clear, and people could not help but believe what he said. If it was really as Yi Li said, then he was measuring the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a vile person. Since Sir is so calm, you are Yuner's friend. In the future, you will also be my friend. Mu Lianfeng smiled slightly. His smile was like a breeze. The two men were originally in a hostile state, but at this moment, they looked at each other and smiled. Mu Lianfeng felt that he should trust the relationship between him and Zhao Yuner more. They loved each other so much. So what if Yi Li also loved Zhao Yuner? Could it be that he was afraid of them being together? If he maintained this kind of suspicion and distrust, it could only mean that he was not loyal enough to his love with Zhao Yuner. "Father, Daodu is so hungry. Where's Mother? I caught a lot of snails, so I'll let Mother cook some for Daodu." Daodu tugged on Mu Lianfeng's little hand, with an expectant look on his face. "Your mother is not feeling well, and is resting in the house. She might not be able to cook tonight." "Ah, is Mother injured?" Daodu's small face was also dyed with a touch of worry. Mu Lianfeng hurriedly comforted him. "It's not a big deal. Daodu, you don't have to worry too much." Just as Daodu wanted to go to Zhao Yuner's room to check on Zhao Yuner had already walked out. "Mother," Daodu immediately ran to Zhao Yuner's side. "Yuner, why didn't you rest properly? Why did you run out of bed?" Mu Lianfeng's face was tinged with worry. "I'm fine," Zhao Yuner replied with a smile. Her body only had a few open wounds and some blood, but those were external injuries, and were not very serious. After the medicine on her body was cured, she felt indescribably comfortable. After resting for a while, she felt much more comfortable. Thinking about the wild rabbit and mushrooms that Mulan had sent over, Liang Jinxiao definitely wouldn't cook them. Yi Li was staying for dinner, so he had to bring out some food to entertain them. He couldn't appear too shabby. Just now, she vaguely heard that Daodu had brought back some snails. This was something that Liang Jinxiao probably wouldn't cook, so she had to come out. Chapter 2078. Liang Jinxiao could help out. She was only responsible for cooking. Even if you have nothing to do, you still have to rest. We'll take care of the household matters. You have to close your eyes and rest for the next 2 days. My body isn't that delicate. Zhao Yuner pursed her lips. Now I want to come out and cook dinner for you guys. I'm afraid that you guys won't be used to my mother's cooking. Since we have guests today, we naturally have to treat them well. Thinking back to when she was a police officer, she had to carry out missions with a seriously ill body. Moreover, They were all strenuous physical exercises. Unlike now, it was just cooking. It didn't take much effort at all. Although Mu Lianfeng was worried about Zhao Yin'er, he knew Zhao Yin'er's personality. No one could stop her once she decided on something. He could only go along with her wishes. Yin'er will help you out. Don't tire yourself out, Mu Lianfeng said with concern and heartache. Zhao Yin'er nodded. I didn't plan on doing it alone. Of course, everyone has to work together. It's getting late. We have to cook early, so that we can rest early after eating. Seeing that Zhao Yin'er was so polite, Yili felt a little embarrassed. Yin'er, actually, you can just cook something casually. I'm not picky. Prince Shitzi is right. You're injured, so you should rest well in the house. Don't come out to work. All right, don't try to persuade me anymore. It's just a meal. Don't waste any more time. After Zhao Yin'er finished speaking, she directed Mu Lianfeng to skin the rabbit. Then, she directed Zhao Wenhua to wash the snails. Yili quickly helped. He went to Zhao Wenhua's side and copied Zhao Wenhua's actions. He used a brush to wash the snails. Meanwhile, Zhao Yin'er went into the house to prepare dinner. After a while, Mu Lianfeng finished processing the rabbit and brought it to the kitchen to help Zhao Yin'er chop it into pieces. This way, it would be easier to process it. Zhao Yunlong had also washed the snails clean, but there was still a fishy smell when he smelled it carefully. Zhao Wenhua was really curious about how this thing was made to taste so delicious. Wouldn't the fishy smell make it hard to eat? Meanwhile, Zhao Yin'er was busy in the kitchen. In this big pot of rabbit meat, Zhao Yin'er made a rabbit meat with wine flavor. It had a spicy and fragrant flavor. It was absolutely delicious. Of course, it was the easiest to drink with wine. The men at home would definitely like it. As for snails, the reason why the ancient people didn't like them was because the way they cooked them was wrong. The ancient people were reluctant to use oil and water, and they didn't use much seasoning when cooking. Therefore, when they stir-fried snails, they would only boil them in clear water. At most, they would add some salt. Naturally, the cooked snails were difficult to swallow. Zhao Yin'er poured a lot of oil into the pot. Then she added scallions, ginger, garlic and dried chili. The ginger and garlic could remove the fishy smell and cover the smell of the snails. After stir-frying with dried chili, it would be very spicy. Of course, it would only taste better when it was spicy. Zhao Yin'er added some salt, soy sauce and vinegar. Then, she poured a few spoonfuls of yellow wine. Yellow wine was also used to remove the fishy smell. Generally, people like to add some when cooking meat with a strong fishy smell. With the addition of ginger and garlic, the original fishy smell was even more removed. Instead, a fragrance emerged. Zhao Yin'er asked Liang Jinxiao to make the fire the hottest. After stir-frying in the pot, a strange fragrance emerged. Chapter 2079. Especially the aroma of the stir-fried ginger and garlic, mixed with the dried chili. She knew it was sour and refreshing before she even tasted it. Looking at the snails in the pot, Liang Jinxiao couldn't help but swallow her saliva, wanting to taste it as soon as possible. Thinking about it, Zhao Yin'er's culinary skills were really amazing. Clearly, the food that others didn't eat could become a delicacy in her hands. Fortunately, the other people in the village didn't know how to make it. Otherwise, if they brought back some screws one by one, it would be difficult for their family to make more food. Yin'er, it smells so good. How do you know that this thing can be eaten? Liang Jinxiao asked curiously. Mother, I know a lot of things that can be eaten, but you don't eat them. Haha, that's true. Zhao Yin'er curled the corners of her mouth. When there are more ingredients in the future, I'll take you to slowly recognize them. When the time comes, there will be a lot of delicious food that I can teach you to slowly cook. Liang Jinxiao hurriedly nodded in agreement. All right, then Mother will follow you and learn well. If Mother's culinary skills can be as good as yours, the other people in our family naturally won't mind. And they won't be nagging you to come over to cook every day. Just like you today, if Mother can cook these things, you can rest well in the house. You don't have to get up and waste time and energy cooking. Zhao Yin'er smiled slightly and replied, Mother, this isn't too tiring work. It's just cooking. It's just cooking. Sigh, that's true. Mother's heart aches when she sees you working even though you're injured. Okay, mother, let's not talk about this. The food is almost ready. Everyone, hurry up and eat. Liang Jinxiao quickly responded. Okay. It's getting dark. Everyone must be hungry. As Liang Jinxiao spoke, before Zhao Yin'er could do anything, she had already put the snails in the pot on a plate. There was a lot of fried snails, so it filled a large plate. Looking at the hard shell, Liang Jinxiao took it into her mouth and bit it. Her teeth were completely useless compared to the snail shell. She couldn't bite it at all. Liang Jinxiao was a little anxious. I don't know what to do with this bite. I think the soup tastes good. It's spicy and fragrant, but we can't just lick the shell and eat it, right? Zhao Yin'er was amused by the way Liang Jinxiao ate the snails. No wonder people in the countryside didn't eat snails. It was because the way they ate them was wrong. At the rate Liang Jinxiao was chewing, he probably wouldn't be able to eat the snail meat even if he crushed his teeth. Zhao Yin'er smiled and stopped Liang Jinxiao. Then she demonstrated to Liang Jinxiao. Mother, you can't eat it like this. Then how do you eat it? Zhao Yin'er took out a tooth, then gently poked the end of the toothpick into the snail meat. Then with a flick, the snail meat was picked out. Mother, open your mouth. Zhao Yin'er put the snail meat in front of Liang Jinxiao's mouth. Liang Jinxiao cooperated and opened her mouth. When she ate the snail meat, a strange delicious taste filled her entire mouth. Liang Jinxiao didn't expect Zhao Yin'er to take the snail meat out so easily. Yin'er, your method is too good. I'm too stupid. I don't know how to think of other methods. I only know how to bite it. I probably can't eat the meat even if my teeth are crushed. Mother, there's a saying that pregnancy makes a woman stupid for 3 years. It's not unreasonable. Zhao Yin'er joked. You're actually talking about your mother. I'm just telling the truth. Chapter 2080. After Liang Jinxiao tasted the snails, he imitated Zhao Yin'er. He picked up a toothpick and picked out a piece of snail meat and put it in his mouth to chew. As he ate, he muttered, "This fragrant and spicy taste is the best to go with wine. Your fourth uncle and your second cousin brother helped us a lot today. If it weren't for the fact that it's too late and something happened, it would be good to invite your fourth uncle and your second cousin brother over for some wine." Zhao Yin'er said, "Mother, although it's a little late now, I reckon that fourth uncle and second cousin brother have just eaten. It's good to send some over for them to try and satisfy their cravings. In addition to stir-frying so many snails, we also have a lot of rabbit meat. This fungus soup can also be sent over for them to try." Zhao Yin'er pointed at the food on the stove, especially the rabbit meat and snails. If they couldn't finish them at night, they wouldn't be fresh until tomorrow. Naturally, the taste would be worse. Therefore, they should take some time to send it over at night. Even if they had already eaten, it wouldn't prevent them from eating it as a midnight snack. The main thing was that these things didn't fill their stomachs at all. They wouldn't feel bloated even if they ate it. That's good too. Tianan will send it over. Don't worry about this. Don't go, your body can't take it. Liang Jinxiao exhorted. He was afraid that Zhao Yin'er would move again, so he went over personally. Zhao Yin'er nodded. Okay, mother. Let's pack some and send some over to fourth uncle and second cousin brother in the next 2 days. Okay. Zhao Yin'er found a lunchbox. Liang Jinxiao wasn't stingy and filled a big bowl for each of them. They would definitely be able to have a good meal when they went back. Liang Jinxiao also specially instructed Zhao Tianan to use toothpicks to pick out the snails, so that Zhao Wentao and Zhao Tianhu wouldn't know how to eat them. Meanwhile, Zhao Yin'er and her family were preparing for dinner. They had been delayed for a long time today, so the family's stomachs were already growling from hunger. When they saw the dishes on the table, they immediately gathered around. To entertain Yi Li, Zhao Yin'er stir-fried some rabbit meat, vegetables and vegetarian dishes in addition to snails. There were a lot of vegetables at home. Zhao Yin'er was not stingy and made a lot of them. Thus, there was a table full of dishes. Seeing this kind of hospitality, Yi Li was a little embarrassed. The food is too sumptuous. It makes it seem like I'm here to freeload. Benefactor, don't stand on ceremony. Just eat. There are only a few more dishes than usual today. Our family's food is always sumptuous, Zhao Wenhua greeted. Yi Li called for everyone to eat together. Otherwise, he would be too embarrassed to eat alone. Fortunately, Zhao Yuner and her family were very open during the meal and did not have any reservations at all. Seeing that the atmosphere at the dining table was good, and the family was very warm together, even Yi Li's mood improved a lot. He only stayed in Zhao Yuner's house for 2 hours, but he felt that he liked the atmosphere of Zhao Yuner's house very much. How nice it would be if this was his home. In this way, he could also enjoy living such a life with Zhao Yuner and her family. Unfortunately, he was just a passerby. It was impossible for him to stay here for a long time. Now he should cherish every second that he could stay here. After a while, Zhao Tianan finished delivering the food and sat down to eat. Zhao Wentao and Zhao Tianhu had already eaten the snails sent by Zhao Yuner after receiving them. Chapter 2081. The food that Zhao Yuner sent over could at most be added to the meal. There were many people in the family, and each person could eat a mouthful, and it was almost finished. Zhao Wentao brought the rabbit meat and snails back to the house, and the children immediately surrounded him. After a while, they finished the food in their bowls. After eating, they were still very unsatisfied, and discussed the delicious food that Zhao Yuner's family made. Zhao Wentao was both happy and helpless. In terms of food, there was no family in the whole village that could compare to Zhao Yuner's family. Now the food that Zhao Yuner sent over was just to satisfy their cravings. For them, it was already good enough. They couldn't expect Zhao Yuner to send too much. After all, Zhao Yuner's family also had to eat. However, the children were gluttonous. After eating a little, they looked forward to eating more. Zhao Wentao was a little helpless, so he could only coax the children to cook for them later. In the end, it was their family's conditions that were not good. If their conditions were slightly better, they could eat more meat. Life was fought for by oneself. Only by working hard could one let one's children live a good life. On Zhao Tianhu's side, he was hesitating whether to call his parents, sister-in-law, and nephew to eat together. But there was only so much food in the bowl. If he took it out and shared it with everyone, it was estimated that they wouldn't be able to eat much. When there were more people, the amount that was evenly distributed to each person would naturally be less. In addition, his nephew was a little ancestor. Basically, whatever delicious food there was in the family would be eaten by him alone. So this time was definitely no exception. If Zhao Yangyang ate all of it, the others could forget about it. In the past, Zhao Yangyang was his nephew. As his second uncle, he always thought of Zhao Yangyang when there was something good. However, now that he had a wife, he began to have selfish thoughts. Compared to his wife, everyone else was absolutely incomparable. If there was something good, he should give it to his wife to eat. Zhao Yuner only sent these few. These good things should be left for his wife to try, and let his wife eat some good things. When Zhao Tianhu saw Jinju's thin body, he felt distressed. He knew that Jinju's life in her family was not good. Now that she had married him, as a husband, he should let his wife live a good life, instead of letting Jinju suffer like before. But he didn't have much ability, and his family's conditions were just like that. If it weren't for the leftovers from the banquet, they probably wouldn't have been able to eat anything good. After a few days, Jinju would have to live a simple life with him. He couldn't bear to see his wife suffer, so he gave Jinju as much as he could. Wife, younger sister Yuner asked someone to send some delicious food over. It's still warm. Come, eat it while it's hot. Zhao Tianhu carried a bowl into the house and called Jinju over to eat. Both of them had just finished bathing. At this moment, Jinju sat on the bed and began to tidy up her clothes. There was an oil lamp on the table at the head of the bed. Jinju held a needle and thread in front of the oil lamp and mended. Zhao Tianhu's clothes were torn in some places, but Zhao Tianhu didn't take the clothes to Feng Zhangxia to mend. The holes in the clothes didn't look good. Now that she had nothing to do, Jinju helped to mend the clothes while tidying them up. When Zhao Tianhu entered the house and saw this scene, his heart warmed. It felt good to have a wife. His wife was so considerate. Otherwise, when his clothes were torn, he would just leave them casually. He would be too lazy to give them to his mother to mend. Chapter 2082. Zhao Tianhu had already taken a step forward and walked in front of Jinju. He said softly to Jinju, "Ju, you can work later. Eat the food first. It won't taste good if it gets cold." Jinju glanced at the food in Zhao Tianhu's bowl. There was meat and snails. She knew that meat was edible, but she didn't expect that snails could be eaten as well. Moreover, it looked good. Smelling the aroma in the bowl, it was very fragrant, making people want to take a bite and try it. Jinju had lived in her maternal family for so many years, but she had never smelled such fragrant food. Although she wanted to eat it, Jinju still restrained herself and asked Zhao Tianhu, "Husband, am I the only one eating? Do you want to tell mother and sister-in-law?" Now they hadn't separated from the family. Since they hadn't separated, they couldn't eat alone. According to the rules, if there was something to eat, it should be shared with the family. Now that Zhao Tianhu brought it into the house for her to eat alone, Jinju felt a little apologetic. Zhao Tianhu smiled. "Ju, there's only so much. If everyone eats, it won't be enough to share. You can eat more if you eat alone." Jinju frowned and hesitated. But it's not good for me to go alone, right? If they know that I'm eating alone, they won't be happy." Seeing Jinju's worry, Zhao Tianhu hurriedly comforted her. "It's okay, Ju. There's no such thing as eating alone in our family. Sister-in-law brings a lot of delicious food back from her maternal family every time, and I don't see her sharing it with others. Basically, she and Yang eat it. Sister Yun'er gave us these food because I helped third uncle and third aunt work. These are considered as rewards, so naturally they're mine. I can decide who to give them to. Wife, now I only want to give them to you." Jinju thought about it and felt that Zhao Tianhu's words were reasonable. Although they hadn't separated from the family, they weren't like other families who counted everything together. Sometimes, some things had to be calculated separately. Seeing Jinju's hesitation, Zhao Tianhu urged her again. "Ju, eat. It's okay. Even if something happens, I'll take responsibility. I'm the one who let you eat. If you continue to hesitate, you'll really die." As Zhao Tianhu spoke, he picked up the chopsticks, picked up the rabbit meat, and brought it to Jinju's mouth. "Ju, open your mouth and eat." Only then did Jinju open her mouth in embarrassment and accept the rabbit meat that Zhao Tianhu had picked up. The rabbit meat tasted very good. In addition to being very fragrant, there was also a spicy taste, which made it very refreshing to eat. This was the first time she had eaten something so delicious. "What kind of meat is this?" Jinju asked curiously. "Ju, it's rabbit meat." Jinju nodded. Usually their family couldn't even eat pork, let alone these wild animals. Most hunters would send the game they caught to the town's restaurant to sell for money. Ordinary people couldn't afford it. Now that she ate this rabbit meat, the taste was really extraordinary. It was so delicious that she wanted to continue eating. "Ju, is it delicious?" Zhao Tianhu asked softly. "It's delicious." Jinju replied bitterly. "Come, eat more if it's delicious." As Zhao Tianhu spoke, he picked up another piece and brought it to Jin Xiao's mouth. "Husband, you eat too. Don't let me eat alone." "It's okay. I'm not hungry. Ju, you eat." Chapter 2083. When Jinju said this, Zhao Tianhu felt embarrassed. "Okay, wife, I'll eat too. But you should eat more. I'm a man, so I don't need to eat too much good food." Jinju smiled. "Okay, I'll eat more. Anyway, you have to try it." A bowl of rabbit meat and snails was eaten by the two of them in a short while. After eating, the two of them were very unsatisfied and wanted to eat more. Especially the snails. They had never tasted something with such a strange taste. "Wife, when I work hard to earn money in the future, I'll buy a lot of delicious food for you to eat. I definitely won't let you suffer with me." Zhao Tianhu said affectionately. If he had money, he could eat meat often if he wanted to. Unlike now, eating a meal felt like a luxury. A blissful smile appeared on Jinju's face. "Husband, as long as I'm with you, everything else is secondary. No, I'm a man, so I'll definitely take you to live a good life. Wife, believe me, for you I'll work harder." Jinju nodded heavily and said, "Okay, I believe you." The happiest thing for a woman was to find a reliable man. Only then would she have someone to rely on for the rest of her life. And she seemed to be very lucky to find a man like Zhao Tianhu. In comparison, old Zhao's family's economic conditions were not so bad. At least they were better off than their Jin family. Even if they had to stay in this state, Jinju was satisfied. In this life, she only hoped to be able to give birth to children for Zhao Tianhu and live a good life as a wife. After the two of them finished eating, they wiped their hands and mouths. Jinju wanted to continue mending the clothes, but Zhao Tianhu snatched it away. Wife, let's mend the clothes tomorrow. It's a bit late. Let's go to sleep first, okay? Jinju looked up and saw the ambiguous smile on Zhao Tianhu's face. She immediately blushed. It wasn't as if she didn't know what this fellow meant by sleep. Wasn't it just that he wanted to do that with her? Jinju shyly snatched the clothes from Zhao Tianhu's hands. Then she said to Zhao Tianhu, "There's still half of it left. You have to at least finish it. You can't give up halfway. That's not good." After saying that, Jinju lowered her head and began to sew the clothes. Her movements were very slow, and Zhao Tianhu could only wait at the side. However, the process of waiting made them very anxious, so much so that even Zhao Tianhu was a little impatient. "Wife, hurry up and sew. It's already very late. We have to go to bed early." Zhao Tianhu couldn't hold back his temper and hurriedly urged her. Looking at Zhao Tianhu's impatient look, Jinju shyly lowered her head and sewed unhurriedly. She weakly replied, "Slow work produces fine work. If you sew quickly, you won't be able to sew the clothes well. There's no need to rush to sleep." Zhao Tianhu resentfully responded. He felt that the thing below was about to be unable to hold it in. "Wife, then I'll go to bed first. Hurry up." "I'll wait for you," Zhao Tianhu said as he quickly got up. Then, he lay on the bed and began to take off his clothes. Then he took off all his clothes except for his underwear. Jinju didn't dare to look around casually. She didn't expect Zhao Tianhu to be so shameless in front of her. Chapter 2084. Wifey, why are you still not done after sewing for so long? If you don't stop, I'm going to die from holding it in. Zhao Tianhu complained silently. Jinju glanced at Zhao Tianhu and saw that Zhao Tianhu's face was full of grievances. Were all men like this? They were too perverted. Jinju felt a little uncomfortable under Zhao Tianhu's scorching gaze. She replied weakly, Okay, it's done." After picking up the last needle and thread, Jinju bit off the excess thread. She then walked to the bed, blew out the candle flame, and got on the bed. As soon as he saw Jinju get on the bed, Zhao Tianhu couldn't wait to press on top of her. Jinju whispered, "Husband, don't." Zhao Tianhu was in a panic at this time. How could he stop what he was doing? "Jua, I want." He didn't know the taste of women before. Now that he had tasted it, how could he not continue to taste it? This thing was like smoking opium. It was addictive. Especially when they just got married, it was the most passionate time. If it was the night before, Jinju would probably indulge herself. But when she thought of Zhao Xinghui's words today, Jinju felt a little uncomfortable. If she screamed again tonight, she would definitely be called a slut. So when Zhao Tianhu touched her, Jinju hurriedly stopped him and said weakly, "Tianhu, don't." "Why not? We made too much noise last night. People saw us. I'm embarrassed, so Tianhu, why don't we stop tonight?" Hearing Jinju's words, Zhao Tianhu's brows knitted together. Now that his desire was provoked, if he didn't relieve it at this time, wouldn't he die of discomfort? He pushed the hard thing below against Jinju's lower abdomen and said, "Juer, I want to listen to you, but it doesn't seem to agree. My good Juer, it's very uncomfortable. Can you help it?" Jinju's face burned even more. I'm afraid that someone might hear us." Zhao Tianhu hurriedly comforted her. "Juer, it's okay. If we lower our voices tonight, we won't be able to hear. My mother lives on one side of our house, and my second uncle lives on the other. Even if my parents heard it, they wouldn't scold us. After all, they still want to have a grandchild soon. As for my second uncle, he is now lying in bed half dead, and the doctor said that his condition is very dangerous. There was no way he would have woken up at this time. I'm sure he won't hear us if we keep our voices down." As for the others, they won't be able to hear us as long as we don't make too much noise. Zhao Tianhu consoled Jin Jusai for a while before she finally nodded in agreement. Then hubby, we must make a big commotion. Zhao Tianhu promised. Of course, wife. Don't worry. I'll be careful and be gentle with you. Only then did Jin Ju nod in agreement. She was the same as Zhao Tianhu. After all, they were both very young. After having a taste of it yesterday, her body couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't wait to do it. Even if the two of them restrained themselves, they still made some noise. While eating, Zhao Wenshui, who was in the next room, had woken up. Chapter 2085. Zhao Wenshui felt like a cripple. He was so pitiful, but no one cared about him. When he wanted to drink water, no one would bring him water, let alone take care of him. Now when he thought about how Li Chuiying was at home, he could be an ancestor and scold Li Chuiying every day. It was so satisfying. Even when he was sick and injured, Li Chuiying could still take care of him very well. Unfortunately, Li Chuiying had returned to her parents' home, and the two of them were divorced. It was unrealistic to count on Li Chuiying. It was only at this moment that he regretted his decision to divorce Li Chuiying out of the blue. Even if Li Chuiying wanted to divorce, he would let her leave after Li Chuiying finished serving him. Zhao Wenshui, who was lying in bed, was very worried about his physical condition. He had suffered such a serious injury and felt that his life was in danger. If he didn't handle it well, he might die. He was still so young. He didn't want to die. There were still many days that he hadn't enjoyed. No one would take care of him. Not to mention the injuries on his body. Eating, drinking, and urinating every day were big problems. It was impossible to not have someone to take care of him. If he lay in bed for a few more days, he would definitely become a cripple. Now, Zhao Wenshui was looking forward to marrying a wife. As long as it was a woman, it would be good to take good care of him. Just as he was thinking in a daze, he heard movements in the room next door. The sound of ecstasy made him feel even more uncomfortable. Zhao Wenshui was already injured, but his body was reacting. He was suffering. However, the movements in the room next door took more than an hour to quiet down. Zhao Wenshui endured for more than an hour. In the end, he unknowingly fell asleep and no longer had any reaction. The next day, Zhao Yin'er and her family woke up early. After resting for a whole night, Zhao Yin'er's spirit had recovered a lot, and she was as spirited as usual. Early in the morning, Yili went out for a stroll. Shuilan village was against the mountains. Thinking that it was still early, he wanted to walk around and take a look. He rarely saw such scenery. Zhao Yin'er was busy preparing breakfast. With Liang Jinxiao around, she did not have to do much. Most of the work was done by Liang Jinxiao. For breakfast, she made some millet pumpkin porridge and some side dishes. He also baked a few pancakes. Although they weren't very sumptuous, they tasted pretty good. While Zhao Yin'er was busy preparing breakfast, Yili also rushed back from outside. As soon as he walked into Zhao Yin'er's house, he smelled the aroma of food coming from the kitchen. Yili sniffed and was attracted by the aroma. What he liked the most was the peaceful and comfortable life in Zhao Yin'er's home. Although the family was not very rich, they didn't eat exotic delicacies, and they didn't live in a luxurious house. But it gave people an indescribable feeling. This kind of peaceful life made people's hearts calm down. If they slowed down, life seemed to become much better. Benefactor, breakfast is ready. Come and eat quickly. Liang Jinxiao put the food on the table and called Yili over. Okay. Yili smiled. She quickened her pace and walked to the table. After breakfast, Yili thought that it was about time for him to leave. He would feel embarrassed if he stayed in Zhao Yin'er's house for too long. He was thin-skinned and did not want to wait for Zhao Yin'er's family to kick him out. Chapter 2086. When Yili proposed to leave, Zhao Yin'er was slightly stunned. Because they knew Yili's situation, they knew that Yili was homeless. If she left their home, where could Yili settle down? Zhao Yin'er suddenly remembered that Yili was very down and out at that time. He didn't even have enough food to eat, let alone money to live in a restaurant. Now Yili came back again. But she still didn't know Yi Li's situation. If Yi Li was still poor and had difficulty surviving, it was better to let him stay in her home. At least he had a place to stay during this period. As for the future, she could think of a way slowly. It would get better. How about staying in my home for a while? Where are you going now? Are you going to Yang City? Zhao Yin'er asked. Yi Li shook his head and said, I don't know, but if I'm going, I should go to Yang City. Yin'er, it's too troublesome for me to stay in your home. It's not good for me to be an outsider. Liang Jinxiao hurried to persuade him. Benefactor, what's wrong with that? There are many houses in my home. You can stay as you wish. It's not a problem. Zhao Yin'er was afraid that Yi Li would have problems if he stayed alone. This guy must have suffered a lot during his escape. Now he could live a more peaceful life. It would be good for him to stay in her home. Although she didn't have anything good to treat him, she believed that Yi Li wouldn't mind the ordinary food. You don't have any relatives in Yang City now, so you don't have any plans. You shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. Why don't you stay in my home for a few more days, so that we can get together? I didn't have time to talk to you yesterday. Now I haven't asked you why you suddenly came to save me, and how you found me and knew that I had an accident. Did you follow me in advance? Yi Li hurriedly waved his hand. No, Yin'er. I didn't follow you. Was he that kind of person? If he secretly followed her, people would definitely think that he was a pervert who secretly followed a woman. Then why? Yi Li recounted what had happened that day. In fact, he was just strolling on the street when he saw an ox cart pass by him. He didn't know why, but when the ox cart passed by, his heart suddenly tightened, and there was a strange feeling in his heart. He then followed the ox cart for a few steps. Relying on his sensitive sense of smell, he smelled a familiar scent from the ox cart. And that smell belonged to Zhao Yin'er. However, he wasn't sure. After all, the smell was too faint. Sometimes he could smell it, and sometimes he couldn't. He could only secretly follow the ox cart and observe the situation. He did not dare to act rashly. Then, he realized that the man in gray was carrying a sack. It was obvious that the sack didn't contain goods but people. The sack was sealed, so he couldn't see who was inside. As he continued to observe, he noticed that Morong Shuang had brought a group of people over. Sensing that something was amiss, he rushed into the house. In the end, Zhao Yin'er was inside, and he saved Zhao Yin'er along the way. After hearing Yi Li's words, Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but sigh. If the ox cart hadn't brushed past Yi Li, and if Yi Li hadn't smelled her scent, perhaps the situation would have been completely different. Her life would have been ruined. At this moment, Zhao Yin'er was indescribably grateful to Yi Li. Yi Li, thank you. Yin'er, you don't have to be so polite with me. I saved you willingly, and I'm very happy to do so. Chapter 2087. Zhao Yin'er also believed that it was God's arrangement. If it wasn't for God, how could something so subtle happen? After all, the probability was too small. It wasn't easy to encounter it. However, Zhao Yin'er was grateful for God's arrangement. No matter who came to save her, at least they didn't let that terrible situation happen. After breakfast, Zhao Yin'er's family members who were busy went to work. Mu Lianfeng prepared to go back to the Shixi mansion. He wanted to ask Morong Shuang clearly and settle the score. Unfortunately, as Mu Lianfeng expected, Morong Shuang had already rushed back to the capital. He couldn't chase her to the capital, so he could only return to Shui Lan village in disappointment. Zhao Yin'er didn't continue to pursue this matter. If Morong Shuang didn't receive any punishment and directly returned to the capital, she would definitely do her best to make this woman receive the punishment she deserved. Now that she was fine, it was Morong Shuang who was gang raped. This alone was enough for Morong Shuang to suffer. Mu Lianfeng didn't object to the addition of Yi Li to the family. When he thought about how he couldn't save Zhao Yin'er, it was his incompetence. Yi Li was his benefactor. If he chased Yi Li away now, it would seem that he wasn't a man and was too petty. Of course, the most important thing was that Mu Lianfeng believed in Zhao Yin'er. He believed in the feelings between the two of them. Zhao Yin'er definitely wouldn't abandon him for another man. Yi Li looked like a reliable person. Since he was a gentleman, he wouldn't steal someone's love, and wouldn't do dirty things behind their backs. On the other side in old Zhao's courtyard, because Jinju and Zhao Tianhu ate snails and rabbit meat last night, they took out the bowls and washed them. They were about to send them to Zhao Yin when Xin Pan happened to see them. Xin Pan understood that her second brother and second sister-in-law were eating alone in their room. Old Zhao's family wasn't well off to begin with, so they didn't have much delicious food. The invitations sent by Zhao Yin were all delicious. Since they were not separated, she should let her Yang eat some. However, Jinju and Zhao Tianhu did not do so. Xin Pan felt that this matter could be said to be light, but it could also be said to be serious. Now that he had eaten it once, there would be a second and third time in the future. What right did they have to secretly eat when they were having fun? Once Zhao Tianlong became a shangguan, he would have to take care of his younger brother and sister-in-law? Xin Pan was too embarrassed to say it out loud, so she could only remain silent. In her heart, she was even more determined to separate. As long as they didn't live together in the future, whatever Zhao Tianhu and Jinju ate had nothing to do with her family. When it was close to noon, Zhao Pinger's donkey stopped in old Zhao's yard. Xiaoxin would be sitting under the shade of a tree as usual, with her legs crossed and eating melon seeds, looking very leisurely. However, only Zhao Xinhui knew in her heart that her heart was too stuffy. She didn't know when this kind of life in old Zhao's house would come to an end. There wasn't much fun in a rundown place like the countryside. It was so stuffy. Most importantly, she couldn't spend her money. She couldn't eat the delicious food she wanted to eat. It wasn't as comfortable as when she was in Yang City. When she had nothing to do, she would go out shopping, buy delicious food, pick some clothes and jewelry she liked, and live a happy life every day. But now, Chapter 2088. Just as he was feeling bored to death, he saw Zhao Ping's little donkey arrive in front of his courtyard. Then from a distance he heard Qin Yuan shouting excitedly, "Auntie, auntie." Zhao Xinhui looked in the direction of Qin Yuan, and her heart skipped a beat. She knew that Qin Yuan must have come for something important. The only thing that could be considered important at the moment was the matter of the restaurant. Hua Chunhua immediately came out of the house when she heard Qin Yuan's voice. This brat liked to seduce her daughter. If she didn't do something about it, who knew what would happen? When she saw Qin Yuan, Hua Chunhua asked irritably, "Brat, what are you doing here this time?" Qin Yuan faced Hua Chunhua, who had a cold expression on her face. Because of Zhao Xinhui, he smiled ingratiatingly and said, "Grandma, I'm here to look for Auntie." Hua Chunhua replied irritably, "I know you're here for something. Tell me, what is it?" "Grandma, the restaurant I'm running is about to open, so I'm here to inform you and Auntie." Hua Chunhua's ugly expression finally eased when she heard Qin Yuan say that he was about to open a restaurant. "What? Your restaurant is open?" Qin Yuan hurriedly replied, "Yes, Grandma. I rented this restaurant a few days ago. I just finished cleaning it up a few days ago. I'm preparing to open it tomorrow. When it opens tomorrow, I want you to come with me. Everyone can join in the fun." Hua Chunhua's eyes lit up instantly. In the past, she looked down on Qin Yuan because Qin Yuan's family was too poor, and he didn't have much ability. If Zhao Xinhui were to be with a man like him, she would definitely suffer in the future. However, things were different now. Qin Yuan really opened a restaurant. Everything else aside, it was definitely an amazing thing to be able to open a restaurant in Yang City. Unlike other businesses, a restaurant could earn a lot of money in a day. With a restaurant, there would be income every day. Over time, they could still make a fortune. Compared to the countryside, such conditions were still very rare. Her hui was not the same as before. In the past, not only was she beautiful, but she was also a virgin. Now that she was married and abandoned by her husband, everyone in the village knew about it. As the news spread, everyone knew about their family's scandal. In addition, Zhao Xinhui had a miscarriage. It would be harder than ascending to heaven for Zhao Xinhui to find a good family to marry. Now Qin Yuan's conditions weren't bad. Most importantly, Qin Yuan really liked Zhao Xinhui and was completely devoted to her. If Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan were together, they might even be able to live a good life. You rascal, you're not lying, are you? Are you telling the truth? Hua Chunhua asked with uncertainty. Qin Yuan quickly nodded and said, Grandma, of course it's true. I can't lie about this kind of thing, right? You'll know when we go to the restaurant tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of opening, and it will definitely be very lively. I want to invite everyone to come and eat for free. Let's have some fun together. Chapter 2089. Qin Yuan smiled shyly. That's right. I've been busy these past few days. Now that it's finally open, I can finally put down the huge rock in my heart. You're Pinger's relatives and also her elders. Since we're opening a restaurant, we naturally have to invite all of you to join us for a meal. It's the first day of opening, and it's a joyous occasion. Everyone feel free to eat. You can also have a taste of our restaurant's food. Feng Zhangxia thought that since they were going to eat in a restaurant, there would definitely be fish and other dishes. In this way, wouldn't old Zhao's family be able to have a good meal with them? Who wouldn't be happy to hear such a free benefit? Especially for someone like her who liked to take advantage of others. She always felt that a pie had fallen from the sky, and she had picked up a benefit. When others gave benefits to her, she had to cater to them on the surface and say a few words. Thus, Feng Zhangxia began to praise Qin Yuan without restraint. Niece-in-law, you're really a promising child. Back then, when that last Ping, married you, your family was poor. Now you've become rich so quickly. You've even opened a restaurant. It's definitely hard to find another restaurant like this, within a radius of dozens of kilometers. My third brother and third sister-in-law really have good taste. They picked you at first glance. Now it's great that you're successful. More importantly, you're still thinking about us poor relatives, even after you've become rich. You don't dislike us at all. This kind of character is really rare. You're really a good person. Qin Yuan felt a little smug after being praised by Feng Zhangxia. After Feng Zhangxia finished speaking, she even poked Hua Chunhua. Mother, look, Qin Yuan is such a good child. Hua Chunhua was a snob. Since Qin Yuan opened a restaurant, Hua Chunhua's expression naturally became much better compared to before. Hearing Feng Zhangxia's words, she nodded and replied, It's really not bad. Since you're so considerate, our family will go together tomorrow and make your restaurant lively. Qin Yuan answered happily. Seeing Hua Chunhua's attitude, he was less prejudiced against him. He was most afraid that Hua Chunhua would say that he was a toad lusting after a swan. Although he knew in his heart that compared to his previous conditions, he was indeed not worthy of Zhao Xinhui. Now he was working hard for Zhao Xinhui. He had also opened a restaurant. As long as he managed it well, he would be able to earn a lot of money. When the time came, he would be able to live a good life with Zhao Xinhui. Mother, don't let your niece and son-in-law just stand there. Quickly ask him to sit down. Feng Zhangxia reminded from the side. Hua Chunhua finally reacted and responded. Qin Yuan sat down next to Zhao Xinhui under the shade of the tree. Feng Zhangxia immediately took a glass of water and handed it to Qin Yuan. Come on, are you thirsty now? Quickly drink a glass of water. Look at how sweaty you are. Feng Zhangxia fawned over Qin Yuan, not only because she could eat and drink for free tomorrow, but also because she thought that since Qin Yuan could open a restaurant, she could establish a good relationship with Qin Yuan. Perhaps she could often eat and drink for free in Qin Yuan's restaurants. Their family was poor and did not have much good food. Occasionally, they could go to Qin Yuan's restaurants to eat good food to satisfy their cravings. Thank you, Auntie. Qin Yuan thanked her. Feng Zhangxia said with a fake smile. You're too polite. Qin Yuan had never been treated like this before. In the past, when he came to old Zhao's house, no one paid any attention to him. Chapter 2090. Qin Yuan naturally knew that old Zhao's family's attitude towards him had changed drastically, because he had opened a restaurant. If he had remained as useless as before, he might have received the supercilious looks from old Zhao's family. People were realistic. Only when you were rich and successful would others look up to you and chase after you. If you were poor, you would have to accept the supercilious looks from others. Because of this, Qin Yuan was even more determined to work hard and earn more money. Other than giving Zhao Xinhui a better life, he also wanted those who looked down on him to take him seriously, flatter him, and curry favor with him. Hua Chunhua muttered, "I underestimated you. I didn't expect you to really open a restaurant." Qin Yuan smiled. "Grandma, I did all this for my aunt." "Yes, I know," Hua Chunhua replied. Zhao Xinhui moved closer to Qin Yuan, took the peeled melon seeds in her hand, and held them to Qin Yuan's lips. She said sweetly, "Here, open your mouth. This is your reward." Qin Yuan happily opened his mouth and ate the melon seeds that Zhao Xinhui had peeled. Zhao Ping'er watched from the side and clenched her fists in anger. Her aunt was really too much. After all, she was Qin Yuan's daughter-in-law now. What was the big deal about Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan's intimate posture? Zhao Xinhui had not peeled the melon seeds with her hands, but with her mouth. When she spat them out, her saliva was stuck to her mouth. She had even fed Qin Yuan the dirty melon seeds. The more Zhao Ping'er thought about it, the angrier she became. "Seriously?" Zhao Ping'er muttered. Her resentful gaze landed on Zhao Xinhui. However, Zhao Xinhui did not look at her at all. She did not care about her, and continued to flirt with Qin Yuan. "Is it delicious?" Zhao Xinhui asked sweetly. Regardless of how the melon seeds tasted, Zhao Xinhui was very happy to be able to taste Zhao Xinhui's saliva. Qin Yuan immediately nodded and replied, "It's delicious. How can the peanuts peeled by my aunt not be delicious? Since you like it, I'll peel some more for you." "Okay," Zhao Xinhui said. She continued to crack the melon seeds in her mouth and fed Qin Yuan. Hua Chunhua looked a little embarrassed. She knocked on the ground gently. "Huier, there are people in the courtyard. Be careful," Zhao Xinhui muttered. "Mother, what's there to be careful of? What's there to be careful of? Don't get too close to the two of you. You're not together yet. What if other people see you?" Hua Chunhua was concerned about her reputation. She was worried about the consequences. "Mother, you didn't agree to us being together before because Qin Yuan's family was poor. Now that he's rich, you won't still disagree, right?" Zhao Xinhui questioned unhappily. She thought that Hua Chunhua's words meant that she did not approve of Qin Yuan. Hua Chunhua explained, "I didn't agree before. After all, his family background was too poor. You would suffer if you were to be with someone like him. I don't have any objections now, but if you two are together, you have to be legitimate. You should be clear about your relationship now. You have to deal with it properly. Otherwise, how can you be together? If other people see you together, they will gossip." Zhao Xinhui frowned. It turned out that Hua Chunhua was still conflicted about this. Chapter 2091. This wasn't a difficult thing to do. They could just say that Zhao Ping'er had slept with that fool, and was even pregnant with his child. This way, it would be perfectly justifiable for them to push Zhao Ping'er to Qin Yuan. This way, she would be able to be together with Qin Yuan. In the future, if others still criticized them, then there was nothing they could do. They just had to treat their words like farts and not care so much. "Mother, don't worry. Qin Yuan and I will do it well. We won't let others gossip about us." Zhao Xinhui patted her chest and promised. Qin Yuan also hurriedly replied, "Grandmother, if I get together with Auntie, I will definitely make reasonable arrangements. It's fine as long as you can promise. Once everything is arranged, you can be together. But for now it's best to be careful." Only then did Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan reluctantly keep some distance. Qin Yuan planned to earn enough money to buy a big house in Yang City. Then, he would hold a formal wedding and marry Zhao Xinhui. He would let others know that Zhao Xinhui was also the rightful wife of his prestigious family. "Auntie, it doesn't matter if we're intimate for a while. As long as our hearts are together, it's fine." Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Xinhui and said affectionately. Zhao Xinhui nodded. At the same time, she instructed Qin Yuan. "Now that the restaurant is open, go and talk to Zhao Ping'er. I don't want her to make a fuss when we're together." "Don't worry, Auntie. I'll talk to her when we get back today." Qin Yuan hurriedly agreed. Zhao Ping'er was a little confused. She didn't know what Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were whispering about. She had a feeling that they were betraying her. Zhao Ping'er glared hatefully at Zhao Xinhui. Her sister-in-law was really incomparable when it came to seduction. She always knew how to make her lover fall head over heels in love with her, and listen to everything she said. Now she and the Qin Yuan had finally made a name for themselves. She had accompanied the Qin Yuan through hard times, and was about to live a prosperous life. Unfortunately, Zhao Xinhui had appeared again. She stood there alone. She was obviously Qin Yuan's wife, but she looked like an outsider. On the other hand, Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinzhong were together. The two of them were exchanging flirtatious glances, making them look like a couple. Since the arrival of Qin Yuan and the opening of the restaurant were good news, old Zhao's family members gathered together to talk about it. Even Zhao Baoshan asked a few questions casually. No matter what, Qin Yuan was the son-in-law of old Zhao's family. Qin Yuan had opened a restaurant. If he had the ability, old Zhao's family would benefit from it as well. When they went back to the village, they could brag about it. If others heard about it, they would definitely be envious of old Zhao's family. After chatting for a while, Qin Yuan ordered Zhao Ping'er. Zhao Ping'er, go to your parents' place and tell them that we'll go to the restaurant in Yang City for dinner tomorrow. Of course, Zhao Yun'er's family would be involved in such an important matter. Qin Yuan didn't really care about Zhao Yun'er's family. Now that he had the ability, he should let Zhao Yun'er's family know that he couldn't let them look down on him. Back then, when Zhao Yun'er's family was rich, they looked down on him. Now that he had opened a restaurant, he could hold his head high. He had to show off a little. The way to show off was to call Zhao Yun'er's family over for a meal, and let them see how his newly opened restaurant was like. Zhao Ping'er pouted and muttered, "Big brother Yuan, am I going alone? Why? Can't you handle such a small matter alone?" Chapter 2092. Zhao Ping'er's coquettishness was not only ineffective in front of Qin Yuan, but it also caused Qin Yuan to feel a wave of disgust in his heart. This woman was a little too disgusting. This kind of pretentious behavior was a little unbearable. A woman's coquettishness was only suitable for beautiful and good-looking women. For someone like Zhao Ping'er with an ugly face, it would only make people feel disgusted and disgusted. Qin Yuan replied with some disdain, "You still have to ask me to accompany you for such a small matter. Zhao Ping'er, tell me, what else can you do? Big brother Yuan, going to my parents' place is not a small matter. As my son-in-law, you should at least accompany me, right? Otherwise, wouldn't it seem like we're not sincere?" Zhao Ping'er muttered. She did not dare to speak too harshly, afraid that Qin Yuan would be angry if he heard her. Qin Yuan frowned and glanced at Zhao Ping'er. Then he said, "We specially made a trip here. How is that not sincere? Big brother Yuan, don't you want to see my parents' reaction when they find out that you opened a restaurant? If they praise you, wouldn't it be better if you heard it with your own ears?" Qin Yuan was silent for a while. How could he not be curious about Zhao Yun'er's family's reaction? He had been waiting for this day to come where he could hold his head high. It was not easy for him to wait for this day. It would be a pity if he missed out on Zhao Yun'er's family's reaction. Previously, they did not allow him and Zhao Ping'er to go over, most likely because they were poor. Now that they knew that he opened a restaurant, they might try to curry favor with him again. Thinking about it this way, Qin Yuan felt that he should indeed go over personally. Thus, he got up reluctantly and said to Zhao Xinhui, "Auntie, I'll leave for a while. I'll come over later." Zhao Xinhui responded unhappily. Qin Yuan smiled fawningly. "Auntie, don't worry. I'll be back soon." Then hurry up. Don't dawdle." Okay. Seeing that Qin Yuan finally agreed to go with her to the third branch, Zhao Ping'er felt a lot better. With a big smile on her face, she hurriedly moved closer to Qin Yuan. Then, she reached out and tried to hold on to Qin Yuan's arm. Big brother Yuan. When he was 1 meter away from Zhao Ping'er, Qin Yuan hurriedly dodged and shouted at Zhao Ping'er, "Zhao Ping'er, what do you want to do? Why are you so close to me?" Zhao Ping'er pouted and mumbled, "Big brother Yuan, we are husband and wife. If you and auntie can get close, why can't I?" "Zhao Ping'er, can you have some self-awareness? I have to buy you a mirror later, so that you can take a good look at yourself and know what you look like." Big brother Yuan, No matter how ugly I look, I'm still your legal wife. I'm better than Auntie. You treat Auntie so well, but you don't treat me that well. Zhao Ping could not help but complain. The more she thought about how Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were together, the angrier Zhao Ping became. Qin Yuan glared at Zhao Ping a little angrily. Zhao Ping I can't be bothered to talk to you. If you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being rude. In the face of Qin Yuan's warning, Zhao Ping could only shut her mouth resentfully. She lowered her head and followed Qin Yuan to the third branch's house. At this time, Zhao Yin was in the courtyard, sitting under the shade of a tree. She was holding Tian Tian in her arms, and Liang Jinxiao was sitting beside her. The family was chatting together. Chapter 2093. This child had enough nutrition and did not look as thin as when she was born. Zhao Yin'er estimated that after a while, Tian Tian would grow up to be chubby, like a cute porcelain doll. Tian Tian, who was originally in her arms, suddenly made a fuss. Zhao Yin hurriedly held Tian Tian and asked softly, Tian Tian, do you want to poop or pee? Tian Tian whimpered a few times, but Zhao Yin'er did not understand. However, Tian Tian soon let out a loud fart, and then took out a pile of poop. The child's poop was pink, and the smell was not strong, so it did not smell bad. Zhao Yin'er smiled and said, no wonder you're more noisy than usual. You want to poop. She held Tianan in her hand, and let the baby poop for a while. Then Tian Tian whimpered twice, indicating that she was done. Zhao Yin then asked Liang Jinxiao to bring some paper over and wipe Tian Tian's butt. Because Tian Tian was a baby, her butt was very tender, and could not accept that kind of sharp thing. The paper used to wipe Tian Tian's butt was soft and would not hurt the skin. Of course, only people with conditions like Zhao Yin'er could afford to use it. If it was in an ordinary family, such a small child would at most use a rag to wipe her poop, and then wash the rag and continue to use it. After all, the conditions were limited, and they did not have so much money to waste on paper. In this village, generally, very few people were willing to use straw paper to wipe their buttocks. They directly used some wooden sticks or leaves. Zhao Yin'er remembered that when she had just transmigrated, she was not used to using wooden sticks, and there was no straw paper. Later she pulled a few leaves to make do. The result of using leaves was that the chrysanthemum was very itchy and uncomfortable. Later, when the conditions were slightly better, she decisively bought straw paper to use at home. Just as she held Tian Tian back in her arms, Little Black followed the smell of Tian Tian's poop and bowed his head to eat it. Zhao Yin'er hurriedly pushed Little Black away and sternly reprimanded it. Little Black, you can't eat it. How many times have I told you? Although you're a dog, you can't eat shit. It's too dirty, and the smell is too strong. If you eat it, we'll despise you to death. Little Hay glanced at the sweet papa and whimpered, as if it understood Zhao Yin'er's words. It turned its head and stopped eating. Zhao Yin'er didn't know why dogs had an inexplicable attraction to Papa. Little Black's daily meals were not bad, but he was always thinking about Papa. Fearing that Little Hay would secretly eat Jin Xiao, Little Hay hurriedly took out some plant ashes and covered Sweet Sweet's pow. Then she cleaned up the pow. Outside the big yard, Liang Jinxiao had just turned back and sat down when she heard Little Black bark a few times, and then run out of the yard. Seeing Xiao He like this, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yin'er both thought that Xiao He had rushed out and was reluctant to give up the poop that Liang Jinxiao had taken away, so they wanted to catch up and eat it. Hey, Yin'er! No wonder people often say that dogs can't change their habit of eating shit. Even our Little Black is like this. Zhao Yin'er was very helpless. Yes, I really don't know why dogs don't like to eat this. Little Black will get dirty later. Don't let Daodu and Tianfu play with him. Yes. Later tell the two children to stay away, so that Little Black won't dirty the poop. Chapter 2094. These two people were Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. It was no wonder that Little Black was barking so fiercely. Not only did Zhao Yin'er hate these two people, but Little Black was also a dog with intelligence. It knew that whatever Zhao Yin'er hated, it would also hate. Therefore, when Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan came over, it immediately barked wildly to express its dissatisfaction. Zhao Yin'er said to Liang Jinxiao, "Mother, little black isn't eating shit. It's big sister Ping-er and Qin Yuan who came over." Only then did Liang Jinxiao notice Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan. Seeing these two familiar figures, Liang Jinxiao's brows also knitted together. Now that she saw Zhao Ping-er, she felt annoyed. She also didn't know why Zhao Ping-er had specially come over this time. At this moment, Liang Jinxiao's right eye twitched. She was slightly startled and muttered, "Great, this is great. Nothing good is going to happen again." Could it be that Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan came over to trouble them again? Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping-er were about to reach Zhao Yin'er's courtyard when they were stopped by Little Black. Little Black bared its fangs and looked like it could pounce at any time. Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan were so frightened that they didn't dare to go forward, afraid that they would be bitten by Little Black. Especially Zhao Ping-er, who had been bitten by Little Black before and knew the pain. At this moment, after Little Black barked a few times, Zhao Ping-er was so frightened that she directly hid behind Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan was also very frightened. He shrank behind Zhao Ping-er and even complained to Zhao Ping-er, "Woman, do you have any conscience at all? Seriously, you only know how to let me block in front. What if that dog bites me? Big brother Yuan, aren't I scared? So I couldn't help but hide behind you. I didn't do it on purpose." Stop quibbling. Zhao Ping-er, I've finally seen through you. How dare you treat me like this? Big brother Yuan, I really didn't do it on purpose. I was bitten by Little Black before, and I'm very scared. What should we do now? Little Black is so fierce, we definitely can't go over. If we go over, we will be caught and bitten by Little Black. As Zhao Ping-er spoke, she was so scared that she took a few steps back. Qin Yuan secretly scolded Zhao Ping-er for being a good-for-nothing. Although he was also very scared, he came to Zhao Yin'er's house today for serious business. Therefore, when faced with the barking little Hay, Qin Yuan shouted towards the courtyard, "Mother, I'm here for business. Hurry up and let little Hay go." "That's right, Mother. Big brother Yuan and I are here for business. Little Black is blocking us, and we can't come over. Hurry up and get rid of it. This damn dog is really too much. It catches and bites the whole family. It doesn't have any eyesight at all. To think that you guys fed it so much food." The corner of Zhao Yin'er's mouth twitched. Little Black's eyesight was clearly not bad. It knew how to chase away evil people when it saw them. "What are you guys here for?" Liang Jinxiao asked indifferently. "Mother, how are we going to talk if you let this damn dog block us? Hurry up and get rid of it so that we can talk." Zhao Ping-er grumbled. Liang Jinxiao thought about it. He was curious about what important matter Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan had to personally come over. He called out to Little Black, "Little Black, come back." Little Black was very intelligent. When he heard Liang Jinxiao's voice, he turned around to take a look. After wagging his tail, he obediently returned to the courtyard. Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan watched Little Black leave. Only then did they muster up the courage to go to the third branch's courtyard. "Ping-er girl, if there's anything, hurry up and say it," Liang Jinxiao urged. Chapter 2095. Liang Jinxiao was stunned. Only then did she know that Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan came over to talk about opening a restaurant. She was not very surprised when she heard about this matter. After all, she had already heard about it before. As for whether Zhao Ping-er and Qin Yuan opened a restaurant or not, that had nothing to do with her. She did not want to worry about this daughter of hers. Whether her life was good or bad, that had nothing to do with her. Therefore, Liang Jinxiao only gave an indifferent reply. Zhao Ping-er continued to speak proudly. "Mother, Big brother Yuan's restaurant is opened in Yang City. The shop is not small. When it opens, there will definitely be a lot of money coming in. Relying on this restaurant, we will slowly become rich. In the future, we will become the wealthiest family in the village. Mother, you see, you used to despise Big Brother Yuan's family for being poor. Now that Big Brother Yuan has opened a restaurant, you can be considered to have struck it rich." Zhao Ping-er bragged about them opening a restaurant, while secretly praising herself for having good eyesight to find such a good man like Qin Yuan. Seeing Zhao Ping'er's proud and boastful look, the corner of Zhao Yin'er's mouth could not help but twitch. Wasn't it just a restaurant? Those who did not know would think that they had done something big. If one opened a restaurant to show off in front of others, they might be envied. However, to Zhao Yin'er, opening a restaurant was not worth mentioning. With the gold, silver, and jewelry bestowed by the emperor, Mu Lianfeng's assets, and the benefits that she could earn in the future, even if Zhao Ping opened 10 more restaurants, she would not be able to catch up to her. Yet, this woman still showed off in front of her. When Liang Jinxiao heard that, she only gave an indifferent reply. Father, mother, and younger sister Yin'er, big brother Yuan and I are opening the restaurant tomorrow. It's already very late. Grandfather, grandmother, and a few uncles are all going over together. You all should also come over for a meal. Zhao Ping'er said proudly. She came over to invite them over for a meal, but in reality, it was more like she was showing off. After all, it was a joyous occasion for Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. In addition, the rest of old Zhao's family would be going. If they did not go, it would seem a little overboard. Liang Jinxiao agreed. And he did not seem very happy, smiling as if it was a very normal thing. The reaction of Zhao Yin'er's family was completely out of Qin Yuan's information. To be more precise, it did not reach what Qin Yuan wanted. He had already opened a restaurant. How could Zhao Yin'er suddenly see such a powerful thing as a very ordinary thing? She didn't put it in her eyes and didn't treat him specially. Unlike in the Zhao clan, Hua Chunhua, Zhao Baoshan, and Feng Zhangxiao were obviously much friendlier to him after learning that he had opened a restaurant. But she did not take him seriously at all. Now that he was successful, how could she treat him like this? Qin Yuan was still a little sad and unconvinced. He knocked his head lightly and said deliberately, Mother, we were poor in the past. I know you looked down on me. Now that Ping'er and I have opened a restaurant, when we come over again, don't act like you're hiding from relatives. You even sent a dog to stop us. You can't look down on us like this, right? Liang Jinxiao was slightly stunned. Then he said, You misunderstood. I never despised you for being poor. If I despised you now, I wouldn't have married Ping'er to you back then. Chapter 2096. How could Qin Yuan believe Liang Jinxiao's words? He was still certain that Liang Jinxiao looked down on him, because he was too poor. It seemed that it was useless to open a restaurant. He had to earn a lot of money back. Only when he had a certain amount of money would the third branch take a second look at him. Qin Yuan's heart suddenly gave birth to another kind of motivation. He must make himself earn enough money. When he goes back to Zhao Yin'er's house, he will travel in a luxurious carriage. He does not believe that these people will not look at him. Every dog has its day. Don't look down on a young man because he was poor. They would regret it in the future. Mother, how can you be like this? You just don't want me to come back. Zhao Ping'er replied angrily. She had kindly come back to invite them to eat at a restaurant. But in the end, she was treated like this. Her mother was really trying her best to distance herself from her. Liang Jinxiao stared at Zhao Yin'er, and the corners of his mouth twitched. He said indifferently, Ping'er girl, you know what you've done. You don't need me to say more. No one knows better than you how mother treated you in the past. Now that you're living a good life, and don't need the help of your family, there's no need for you to come back. Mother, Zhao Yin'er listened from the side. Facing a brainless woman like Zhao Ping'er, she said disdainfully, Sister Ping'er, if there's nothing else, you can go back. My dog doesn't seem to welcome you. As soon as Zhao Yin'er finished speaking, Little Hay cooperatively barked at Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. Seeing Little Hay baring his fangs, Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan were so scared that they took a few steps back. Qin Yuan pulled Zhao Ping'er and said, Let's go. Don't stay here anymore. They're chasing you away. What's the point of being thick-skinned and staying here? Zhao Ping'er wanted to say something but swallowed it back. She followed Qin Yuan and left Zhao Yin'er's courtyard. Along the way, Qin Yuan had a gloomy face and didn't bother with Zhao Ping'er at all. Zhao Ping, cautiously followed behind Qin Yuan and called out to Qin Yuan, "Brother Yuan." Seeing that Qin Yuan didn't say anything, Zhao Ping was a little anxious. Why did she have to chase after him and shout, "Brother Yuan, why are you ignoring me?" Qin Yuan said impatiently, "Zhao Pinger, what do you want?" "Big brother Yuan, are you angry with me?" "Brother." Zhao Ping, don't you know your family's attitude? Heh, since they look down on us, then let's not interact with each other in the future," Qin Yuan said angrily. He felt that not only did he not vent his anger today, but he also lost face. Perhaps the third branch was too rich. Even if they opened a restaurant now, they didn't care about it. "Brother Yuan, don't be angry. My mother is targeting me, not you. Let's not come here in the future," Zhao Ping hurriedly comforted him. They're ignoring me now. I'll wait for the day when they curry favor with me." Qin Yuan's eyes were gloomy as he said with a resolute face. The two of them returned to old Zhao's courtyard in a short while and chatted with old Zhao's family members for a while. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun was about to set. Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan couldn't stay at old Zhao's place for the night, so they took the opportunity to go back before the sky turned dark. On the way back, Qin Yuan told Zhao Ping, about the matter that he discussed with Zhao Xinhui. "Zhao Ping, I have something to discuss with you." Qin Yuan had a straight face and was abnormally serious. "You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."